Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What is going on, everyone? It's Sharon from Jeranism. And I don't know why that always starts again. It's really weird. Welcome to the show. It is Iconoclasm. It is episode number 5, and it is the number 9. Now, it's a little confusing. It's not episode 9. It's episode 5, the number 9. Okay? And we're going to talk about a lot else, but I wanted to cover that just because it's something I found this week that's really bugging me now. And so let me bring everybody aboard, and we should be good to go here. Yes, we are good. Great, fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Oops, I forgot to put in the Rokfin chat. Let's do that. Rokfin, how's everybody over there? Is anybody there? Yeah, we got some people there. We got some people in the house. So hopefully you guys are having a good Saturday. We're going to have a short show. Well, I say short. It's what the show should be, 2 hours. And we're going to do the first hour, just covering a couple topics, talking about some things. Then we'll take calls the second hour. And we'll just have the StreamYard link for you. So we are getting started about 3:10. Thank you. Okay, so we'll know that. Let me just grab this and put the chat in the right spot so we can have you guys on the screen. Hope everybody's well. I do indeed hope so. And yeah, just to cover a little bit about what I think is going to happen with this channel, because somebody called in last week, I believe, and made a good point, that I get it. People are like, I can't share your channel because you have these views on Christianity. I'm like, all right, I do want the channel shared. I want people to see the things. So, and then I moved it to its own show, but that still doesn't help people who can't share the channel, right? So I do think I'm going to be taking over my Cryptoism channel and changing it into Iconoclasm. So I will let you guys know as soon as that happens, but then it will have its own channel. And this way I can kind of do my own thing there. As far as covering some of this stuff that many of us have reached the conclusion of, that it's quite possible that what we've been taught, not only about where we live, but about why we're here, who put us here, who's the creator, who do we need to pray to, all those things. We might have been lied to about those things as well. So it's a, why can't I see Rokfin chat on here? Sorry. There it is. And so we have to cover those things. And then I think that there are some truths that have been hidden from us, deep truths that could probably help us change the world, or at least fix the world, or at least get a leg up in the world. And there we go. Now we fixed that one. And let's make sure that YouTube is good. I did already pull that one, didn't I? Yeah. So hello, everybody who's here at YouTube. We got Mr. Burklecut in the house. Love you too, bro. We've got Charlie, Spacing with the Dust. We've got GMA67 Flatterson. What's up? The NASA beep would be a good alarm clock. You want that? Let's just go like this. So you just want this playing constantly? That's hilarious. Why is this not working? Everything's off today. What's going on here? What? Why did I get signed out of Google? Weird. Okay. Oh, I see why. Yes, allow. That's fine. And we're going to grab this. You know what I hate is that the other day we were doing the updates for the website for the summit, and I kept getting last year's summit information on the website, and it's because I haven't cleared my, what do you call it, cache? I think it's pronounced catch. I don't even know the right pronunciation. And I went and cleared it, and I just hate doing that. It's the worst, because then every website you have to log back into, it's just a nightmare. White boy problems, white person problems, I guess. I gotta log in. I gotta log into all my websites again. how am I ever going to do this? Let's go here and put this here. And good. Now we should be good to go. Okay. We got that. Who else we got in the house? We got FE Nation in the house. We've got LVK. What's up? Howdy, y'all. What? Brenda's here? No, don't. Please don't, God. Please don't. Please don't. Is Snake Brenda? Oh, God, no. I actually saw Brenda. Do you guys want to see her? I don't think I wasn't told I can't show her. Who wants to see Brenda? Give me a 1 if you want to see Brenda. If you want proof that Brenda is not McToon, enter 1. And I will be with you 1 second. I do want to check this. Sorry about the sound problems at the beginning of the show. I couldn't fix it, and I only could fix it by making it mono, which is weird. But I guess does it sound okay? You guys are good? Yeah, 5 by? I guess mono's fine. Let's see. If there was no evolution, do you think no Adam and Eve? What's your thoughts on how the Creator got us here? Yeah, that's a mystery, but I think that it's not. I don't think we have to believe in the Bible story just to say that we believe in a Creator, right? It's not quite so easy. Where is this one? There we go. Is that what you wanted, your alarm clock? I'd go crazy. All right, everybody wants to see Brenda. Let's just go ahead and see her. And I believe I sent it to Doug E. Fresh. Didn't I? Yes. Let's bring it up. Is it a YouTube video? It is. I'll pull it over here so you can see it. Here.
What?
For those people who have not seen Brenda before, now you're about to see her, and your life will never be the same. Never, ever, ever.
Yes, we are live. I'm here with Brenda. Brenda, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Very nice to see you. I'm going to just adjust one last
there it
thing
is.
I forgot to adjust was my screen size.
Just what you wanted to see?
Just a little
hopefully you're happy.
bit, and I'm going to scoot over
see, just
here.
you can hear her talk so you know it's him, her.
Yeah.
Them,
so,
moon self.
It's nice to see you. It's nice to talk to you. It's been about a year. I think it was last March we talked last. How are things going generally? Do you want to just sort of give a little mini introduction into how your life's been going? I know you're at school, and that's exciting. Maybe just talk about the things that you're most excited about since we talked last, please.
Well, I am excited about.
There you go. So there's your proof.
Very grateful that there is a program at the University of Minnesota that allows me to take
does not look like McToon.
Non-accredited courses at a reduced rate that I can afford.
You guys believe it? There we go.
So I've been taking courses.
That's about what I figured.
Well, a recent course I took
there you go.
was
so now everybody knows
religions.
Everybody knows now.
And another one in
yikes. Who said yikes? Yeah, right, Johnny Freedom. You're looking for the phone number. Don't you try and tell lies in this place. We know what's going on. Anywho, let's get back to reality, shall we? That's funny though. That's about what I figured is the funniest thing I've ever seen. That's about what I figured. All right. Brenda is a sexy beast. At least Mr. Burglecut is honest with himself. All right. The rest of you guys just ignoring the beauty before your eyes. This is a little bit strange to me. Sorry I'm late. You're not that late. Believe me. You're good. We haven't got going with the show yet. So let's get going with this real quick. I want to point this out because I want you guys to go. So I want you to head over to TEMS, TEMMS.live. All of my browser, is this thing set to the right position? I got to move my browser to the right here and see if it's set right. Weird that it's showing over here. It's supposed to be on browser. Would everything change size? Weird. Let me fix this, get this over a little bit, this down a little bit, and there. Okay, now we got the right size in there. All right, so there's the summit information, TEMS.live, TEMMS.live. You can go there, kind of gives you the details, gives you the speakers, gives you the schedule if you get down far enough. And here we go. The schedule, the entertainment, the schedule's here. Very easy. You buy a ticket and it takes you to this page here. And very easy. We have 6 items for sale. You can either get the general or the VIP admission to just this True Earth Equinox, or you can get the annual general admission pass, which will be general admission to all of the summits that we have every year, which are going to be 3 of them. But there's also going to be other things added, like Austin's going to do a couple debate nights. We might have some one-off things, and the general admission for annual would cover all that. And then there's a lifetime general admission for all the events that we do, all the summits and the debate nights and everything else that goes with it. The courses, everything that gets put on the website would be done through the lifetime. And then there's VIP as well. Okay. So once you choose one, let's say you want the annual, you just click it, and that's going to take you to this buy page. You're going to hit buy now. And here's the only part that's kind of weird is you're going to pick crypto, debit, credit, PayPal, Cash App. Say we went with credit card. And just remember, you can't move on if you didn't pick this, but right here is this drop-down menu, and this is where you choose who to give your support to. So if you don't know, we pay the speakers a speaker fee on top of, we also give them about half of the proceeds from each ticket. So you're going to go through here and you're going to find whoever it is that sent you there. If it's me, you could find me and put Jaron. You can put Iru, High Impact Flicks, Hibbler, Dustin Nemos, Derek from TikTok, David Avocado Wolf, David Weiss, Crow 777 Radio, Christopher Crum, Brother Sanchez. All those people are in there. Choose one, put your name and address. I'm sorry, your name and last name. Hit pay, and then you'll go through the pay process. That's it. Then when you are done with that, it's going to give you a link that's going to take you to a page called trueearther.com. Now, it'll take you right to the page that you sign up with your deal, but just to let you know, this site exists, and this is where everything will be existing going forward. You'll be able to click video. You'll be able to see all the things that we have available. You'll see the Mount Meru Summit is here, and you'll see that we started filling in day 1, Christopher Crum, day 2, so on and so forth. Okay? So, and then you can just click. So if you want to listen to your Landucci, it's locked. I'm not signed in yet. But anyway, this will be where all of it will be. So you'll have, after this next summit, you'll be able to go here and there'll be Mount Meru, but then there'll also be the equinox and so on and so forth. And then they'll be by year, right? So as we go forward, and this becomes like a very cool Netflix style player. You can also go here and listen to the MP3s. So if you want to listen to day 1, you can just click it. And all you need to do to listen to these is sign in. It's free. So there's no cost on the Mount Meru stuff because it's now a little bit older. So that's about it. And then you can contribute and support Austin and I, who have made this kind of our venture going forward to create a place where all these summits can happen. It's called trueearther.com, and where we're going to have audio, video, and then the extras are put here. All the stuff will go here. All the debate nights will go here. All the summits will go here, and you can be a part of that. We'd appreciate it. And then you're also supporting all the people who come and speak, and we promise to get better and better with every conference or with every summit. The graphical nature of it, the organization of it, staying on time, which is something we did really well last time. We're going to make sure that we are doing that again. I think it's very important to me. And getting new people, fresh faces, also some of the favorites coming back. It's a great idea, I think, and something that people need. It's kind of a nice 2-day conglomeration of, I think we've got like 18 different presenters. So 18 people coming together with kind of their best information. If you're somebody who works a lot or something like that, this is the best way to get a summary of everything that's going on and kind of catch up. And this time we've got some great presenters. If we go back to Thames.live, we've got, let's go up here. Working backwards, we've got Sam Tripoli doing comedy on Saturday night. We've got Chris Crum doing music on both Friday and Saturday. We've got Austin Whitsitt. We've got Brian Young from High Impact Flicks will be there. We've got Caleb and Derek, both of them doing a presentation. They're from TikTok. We've got Melodome, who will be there in spirit, but they're going to be sending in about a half-hour video because they are all going to be at Austin's wedding the exact same day on the 17th. Dustin Nemos will be there. This guy's awesome. If you haven't heard him before, you're going to love it. We've got Crow 777 and Jason doing a presentation. That'll be awesome. We've got Iru Landucci and Zach Zabala, both going to be there. We've got Sean Hibbler will be part of the panel discussion on Friday night. We've got Bro Sanchez making an appearance. He'll be doing a presentation on Saturday. David Avocado Wolf closing out Friday night. Dave Murphy back again. Marty Leeds back again. He's going to be doing a presentation on the heliocentric model and the numbers involved, which is a lot to do with what I'm talking about tonight with numbers. We've got Amanda Vollmer in the house. She's amazing. If you haven't heard her give a presentation, she did water last time. I believe she's doing cosmology this time. We've got Clara Loretta. If you don't know her, check her out. She's on Telegram. She's got a channel on YouTube called Spirit Vehicle. She is an amazing person. I'm really happy that she's chosen to join us and do a presentation for us. And then we've got myself. So that is the lineup for the first ever True Earth Equinox Summit. That will be on the 17th and 18th of March. And it's both days, but you get all the access. So if you can't attend both days, you can only spend 2 hours there. You'll get all of the stuff in replay immediately and easy to find, and it will all be at your new site, which will be trueearther.com. Now, again, do this process correctly. Start it here. Go to buy a ticket, and then the ticket will automatically take you to the sign-up page on trueearther.com that already has purchased the item for you. So if you try and do this, and then you try and go to True Earther by yourself, you're going to end up paying twice. Where if you just go from here, click the link that it gives you when you buy, then it will go over there and it's already purchased the item for you, and you become a member over there at the site. So that's it. And if you could be so kind, go to shop.jeranism.com, and get yourself a hat if you need one. I think, Dave Weiss had an idea for me. I'm like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Because the hats aren't going too great. I mean, they're going right. But you get 6 minutes on the Thursday show, the Thursday call-in show. if you are wearing a beanie or a hat. Okay, so that's going forward. If you have a beanie or a hat on, you get 6 minutes on the call-in show Speaker's Corner. So just let you know. You can get the hat or the beanie, click on it there. Same kind of deal, only you don't have to put in somebody's name. There you go. Look at little Mabby, how cute. Oh, we've got FEMA in here. Let me see where she's at. Or Tima. What? I guess I don't have it on here. Oh, wait, there she is. I was going to say, what's going on? Very nice. She sent in a picture of herself wearing the hat. She thinks it's dope. I agree. Maverick, she looks better than you in the hat. I'm just going to say. Just going to point that out. And then you can hit buy now. Again, got the same thing. Crypto, credit, debit card, Cash App. So and then make sure you add a international shipping if you are international. Otherwise, it's free anywhere in the United States, including those weird states like Alaska and Hawaii. All right, let's move on to the show. I'm going to start with a video. Well, let's kind of cover where we're at. I guess it's good to kind of catch up to where we're at. So if you don't know, the premise of the show is simply that as a flat earther, many people who do come to the flat earth, they've come to God, which I agree with. Okay. I do think that science is trying to hide the creator, doing the best that it can to do so. But I think that sometimes we get caught into these belief systems where they want us to be in belief systems because then we believe exactly what they want us to believe. So my true belief is that the watered down, Americanized version of Christianity is terribly wrong, terribly flawed. And a lot of people are just not worshiping the correct God, or they're not in the right mindset. Again, that's my opinion. If you feel that you are spiritually connected to Jesus and you guys are having a great time together, and that's how you want to spend your life, by all means, enjoy yourself. But I have problems with it, and I want to be able to voice them. And unfortunately, in this community, you get ostracized for doing so because it's a very Christian community, and you must be the devil if you are speaking against Christianity. So even though it's like once you look back and look at the history of the whole thing, if Christians only knew what they were believing and that was in charge of organizing those books, maybe they would feel differently. But I want to get away from just going after Christianity every single week or going after religions. It's more about how we can grow, what we can do from here, what truths can we find that are concealed, right? So I found some stuff this week, and then what we'll do the second half of the show is we'll take calls, okay? So I'm just going to kind of talk you through a couple things here. So we're going to watch a video real quick from this guy, and it's a 14-minute video. Was I going to watch the whole thing? We might watch the whole thing, but I forgot how good it was at the beginning. I don't remember, but there's some good stuff in here. And the guy's name is Bill Donahue. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's got a channel. Is he right here? This is Bill Donahue. Oh, you're not looking. Sorry. This will be better. Let's go with YouTube. Where are you at? I'll just go to the full screen. So this is Bill Donahue here. He is a biblical scholar, but he also, I wouldn't call him a biblical scholar. I guess I don't know what he calls himself. He knows a lot about the Bible. Let's put it about that way. He's wrote a lot of books, and he, is somebody who claims some pretty crazy things about the Bible. Mostly that none of it's true, that none of the people existed, and he's got some great points. He really does. So you can find his whole channel where he's got tons of speaking engagements where he's, talking about life's purpose. Why are we here? The pineal brain and the dark-eyed woman. Few are chosen. What is the Christ? 7 chakras. Religion, mythology. The Bible's not a literal book. So you can just start listening to him talk here, and you'll see.
It's obviously just the conflict between good and evil is all it is, God and the devil. So, but if you look at Psalm 78, verse 2, it says, quoting, quote, unquote, God, I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. Now get this. This is the book of Psalms, which is probably dates back about...
So he's very intelligent, but I saw this video, and it got me stuck on this number 9 thing. So let's check it out, and then we will go from there, and I'll show you some crazy things about 9. Here we go.
They deliberately did this to hide from the profane people the powers that are in the inner consciousness, because they didn't want literal people getting a hold of these mysteries and using them for their own good. I mean, do you want to spend your life going and listening to preachers? Do you want to spend your life reading the Bible, half of which you can't relate to anyhow, 3/4 of which you can't relate to? Or do you want to now spend your life being a participant in God's universe and touching Him within you? That's the difference. The book of Revelation is about your body. The 2 witnesses that are spoken of in the book of Revelation are the pineal gland in your brain and the pituitary gland, the master gland in your brain. Did you know that? and that all of the fighting that goes on and all of the different nations and the rivers and the seas all deal with your endocrine system of your body and that which is the upheaval in your body. And God, through revelation in the hidden mysteries of the East, is giving you directions on how you can put all of this together and how you can get your body and your mind in harmony. The Bible was not written by people from Pittsburgh. The Bible was written by the ancient Eastern people, and they knew numerology. They dwelled in the numbers of the zodiac. They dwelled in all various numbers that had meanings. Let me give you a quick rundown so you get an idea what I'm talking about. Hidden meanings. The number 1 means God, the Logos. The number 2 means body and soul, you and God. The number 3 means new life, resurrection, a new beginning. Jesus was in the tomb 3 days. Jonah was in the whale 3 days. The number 4 means your fourfold nature: physical, spiritual, intellectual, emotional. Okay? The number 5 means mediation. It also means sacrifice. I'm going to show you that a little later. The number 6 means doctrines, laws, religion. Number 7 means divine intervention. Joshua walked around Jericho how many times? 7. And the walls came tumbling down. 7 means divine intervention. There are 7 nerve centers, or 7 chakras that rise from the base of the spine to the top, which are the 7 levels which a person walks in order to find that which is the pineal or enlightenment. It's all part of the Bible. It's all part of the ancient wisdom, which is covered up in numbers. Number 8 means rupture, separation. Number 9 means the human consciousness. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Number 10 means completion. And the number of perfection in Hebrew is 12, which corresponds to the most ancient zodiac. Let's take a look at the number 9. The numerical value to the word Adam in Hebrew in the ancient scriptures is 9. Everything had a numerical value, and that's why there is such mystery in the ancient scriptures, because they use numbers to deceive people who tried to think intellectually. The number 9 means Adam. Adam means earth. The earth means your flesh, your mind, your emotions, the ego, the macho, the I will do what I think, and all this kind of business, okay? So when you use that number 9, it starts to reveal a lot of things to you. If you look in the Bible, you'll see many references to 3.5 or 42 months, 3.5 years, 42 months. It all comes out to 9. Let me show you how. You'll see it as 42 months. You'll see it as 3.5 years. You'll see it as 1,260 days, because 3.5 years is 6 months. Okay, is 3 years and 6 months. That's 42 months. You take 42 times 30, you get 1,260. Okay, now when you add 1, 2, and 6, you get 9. That's the number of human consciousness. That's the Bible's way of hiding from the literal and the intellectual, spiritual, significant, deep mysteries that come out of the times of Egypt and Chaldea. They deliberately did this to hide from the profane people the powers that are in the inner consciousness, because they didn't want literal people getting a hold of these mysteries and using them for their own good or to raise money the way these evangelists and TV people do. Okay, this isn't for that. This should not cost you a dime. I'll give you a symbol. Tithing. How much money have these people made taking 10% out of your pocket? Tithing has nothing whatsoever to do with money. It's symbolic. It's a hidden myth. And what it means is you have 10% of you that is the carnal mind. 10% of you is the left side. It is the negative side. It is the carnal mind. 90% of you is the right hemisphere, which is dormant. God is saying to you, give me that 10%. Give me your ego. Give me your flesh. Give me your will. Through meditation, shut off the thoughts of the mind. You shut off the 10%, which is you. You turn on the right hemisphere, which is the 90%, which is him. You have tithes. Now, let's look at the number 9. Like I said, we were going to look at the number 9. 3.5 months, 3.5 years, 42 months, they all equate to 1,260 days. If you look through the book of Revelation,
So this is pretty crazy. This gets into some nuts stuff, because if you start to look into the number 9, you're going to see some crazy things about it. Let me just start you on that path, just so you can start to see the things that I've found about the number 9, which they don't even make sense. They don't really jive. It's like, what the hell? How is this even possible? So let me show you this. I don't know if you can see it. Let me make sure you can see my screen. It's going to be a little smaller. So here, just move this up here. All right. So let's draw this for a second. So tell me, what is in degrees, of course, what is a circle in degrees? Okay, I'm sure everybody in the chat will know that answer. We'll go circle. We'll go with a white outline and no inside. Okay, so what is a circle in degrees? Okay, we know that a circle in degrees is 360, right? Okay, what's 360? 3 plus 6 is what? 9. Okay, what is half of a circle in degrees? 180. What's 1 plus 8? 9. Let's take 180 divided by 2. What do we get? 90. What's 9 plus 0? 9. Well, let's take 90 and divide it in half. What do we get? 45 degrees. What's 45? 4 plus 5 is 9. What about, we're at 45. Well, it can't work again because if we divide that by 2, we end up with what? 22.5. 2 plus 2 plus 0.5 is what? 9. Well, what if we take 22.5 and divide, it can't keep going. 22.5 divided by 2 gives us a crazy number, right? It gives us 11.25. Well, 11.25 is 1, 1, 2, and 5 is 9. Divided by 2. Do it again. We're at 5.625. All right, well, that can't be right, right? 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 8 is 18. 1 plus 8 is what? How about we divide it by 2 again? 2.8125. Okay, 2.8125 is 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 12, plus 2, is 13, plus 8 is 18. 1 plus 8 is what? 9. Divide that by 2 again, 1.40625. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 6 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 8 is 18, plus 5 is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. Okay? That's insanity. That it keeps going no matter how many times we divide that by 2, we will keep getting the same thing. 0.703125. 7 plus 3 is 10, 1 is 11, 2 is 13, 5 is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. 0.3515625. We have 3 and 5 is 8, plus 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14, plus 6 is 20, plus 2 is 22, plus 5 is 27. What's 2 plus 7? 9. Pretty insane. Okay? That's crazy. Yes, Nikola Tesla, 369. I see somebody mentioning that. It gets crazy to think that. And if you take even some crazier numbers, like let's go with, let's see here if we can. So we know that if we take each of these numbers, and I'm just kind of, before we listen to him talk some more, let's take like, how big is my, okay, go a little bigger, maybe there. So let's take some numbers like 9, and we know if we double that, we get 18, right? Which again, what's 1 plus 8? Then we get what? 27. What's 2 plus 7? Then we get 36. What's 36? 3 plus 6 is 9. Then we got 45. 4 plus 5 is 9. Now, for the next numbers, did you ever realize that you could just go backwards from here? Reverse these numbers. 45 becomes 54. 5 plus 4 is 9. 36 becomes 63. 6 plus 3 is 9. 27 becomes 72. 72 is 9. 81. I've never known that. Well, nobody ever told me that. It would have been a lot easier in my damn multiplication tables. And you could even go 90, which is the 0 and the 9 replaced, right? So they always end up to 9. Now, how about the crazy is this? If we take these and always add them, they will always add to 99. 99. 99. 99, so on and so forth. Obviously the same here, and obviously the same here. Now, when we talked about any number that we say multiply by 9 by any number, and we're going to get a 9. So if we take 9 times, let's say 13, okay, which is 117. Well, 1 plus 1 plus 7 equals 9. So you're like, okay, well, what about crazy numbers? Well, yeah, take, I don't know. Let's get out of this and go, let's go 90, I don't know. Let's think of a big number. 96,748, for example. Let's get all these out there. So no matter what it is, we go 9 times, what did I say? 96,748. Just made that up, but let's see what it comes out to. Let me get my calculator. Okay, calculator, come over here so people can see you. Okay, so we got 9 times 96,748. 96,748. 96,748 equals 870,732, but 8 plus 7 is 15, plus the 7 is 22, plus the 3 is 25, plus the 2 is 27, and 2 plus 7 is 9. So it doesn't matter how big of a number we get to, we will always get back to the 9. So we could take 9 times, 1,000,257,4, whatever. Just put whatever number you want. Just smash on buttons and you're going to get this number, and I can guarantee you that it'll end in 9. 11, 13, 22, 25, 31, 37, 45, plus 4 plus 5 is 9. insanity, and there's much, much more. Let's get back to the video, but it gives you an idea of where we're headed today. Okay, here we go.
You'll see all kinds of references to 3.5, 42, 1,260. They all add up to 9. So now when you have that key, that the number 9 means human consciousness, you can solve some riddles. You can solve the identity of the beast. Who is the beast? 666. Okay? Who is 666? This is the way you have to do it if you understand Eastern mysticism that wrote that. You take 6 plus 6 equals 12. Plus 6 equals 18. Now you have 1, 8. 1 plus 8 equals 9. The identity of the beast is you and me, our lower carnal mind. It's the beast that rapes. It's the beast that makes wars. All of these horrible things that you read about every day in your newspaper and see every day on your television. And we can look at the beast by going into our bathroom, turning on the light, and there's a picture of the beast right over your sink. It is your lower mind. It is that part of you that threatens you, that part of you that convinces you you're not going to make it past tomorrow, that part of you that says, well, everything's okay now, but what are you going to do if, and what are you going to say when you meet so-and-so next week, and all of this stuff.
So one thing I want to be clear on real quick, I was just looking at the chat, I saw somebody say, this is old news, 9 is the God number. Hey, if it's old news, then that's good for you. You can move on. For me, I've heard some of this stuff, but I haven't really put it all together. Sometimes putting it together is important. And then realizing that what this is telling us is that none of the stories in the Bible are real. Do you understand that? There will be no Jesus coming out of the sky. It's not written for that reason. Now, they've confused people, the dumb people, the lessers, who they don't want to know the mysteries. They don't want them to know the truth of the world they live in. So they give you the Bible so that you believe in it as a literal book talking about a man who came from God, who, the Magi followed the star, and he was born in a manger. And I mean, once you start to look into this stuff, you realize none of that stuff is true. It's all allegory. That's why Jesus was born in a manger between a ram and a goat or whatever it is, because that's what he was born astrologically. It's a sky story. It's astrotheology. It's symbology. And only the elite, or those who are the graduated ones, the Illuminati, if you will, know the truths. Now, we stumble around thinking and arguing about, well, did God really condone slavery? Did he really say to burn these animals? And no, he did not. So stop putting things on God just because somebody wrote a book that hid truths inside of a religious story. Okay, it doesn't mean that that's real. Why would you ever put these things on God when you have no evidence of it? And so what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to open your mind to the fact of you can either go around believing people like Jim Bob telling you to believe word for word or believe the book written by men, or you can recognize that that's for the lower class and move yourself up in the world. Let's continue.
Keeps you rattling and shaking and all of those things within you going nuts. That's the beast. That's hell. What about those who are saved? What about those who are going to heaven? In Revelation 14, it says 144,000. That means an endless number of saved. But look at the number, 144. 1 plus 4 equals 5 plus 4 equals what? 9. 9 means consciousness. The beast is the lower consciousness. Those who are saved are the higher consciousness, the upper room, the mountain experience, meditation. When you lift yourself up above, you come into being that 144 or consciousness in the higher realm. So 9 then means consciousness, and it shows either on the lower level, which is the devil or hell of the carnal mind, on the higher level, which is the divine mind. There's an interesting way you can see how the Bible specifically shoves this in, so you know it's a tip-off from the ancient people that this is talking about consciousness. Jesus says to the fellows in the boat, look, if you want to catch fish, cast your net over to the right side of the boat, okay? What Jesus is talking about is not fish. Fish means wisdom. He's not talking about the right side of the boat. He's talking about directing your energy to the right hemisphere of the mind. You do that by turning off the left side in meditation. Now, how do we know? Now that we know consciousness, how do we know that Jesus is talking about consciousness and not fish? You'll see there in that scripture when Jesus says, cast your net to the right side, you'll see how many fish they caught. They caught 153 fish. Okay? 1 plus 5 plus 3 equals 9. 9 means consciousness. Therefore, Jesus is definitely saying, if you want to be filled with God's wisdom, if you want to be filled with God's understanding, if you want to be filled with God's knowledge of this universe and your place in it, then direct your energies to the right hemisphere. And Jesus told you how to do that by taking no thought. You must meditate. You must allow your eye to be single. You focus that energy right between your eyes and your forehead, and you focus energy there, and you bring yourself above all of those thoughts which are trying to destroy you. You bring yourself up into the bliss of the heaven which is within you, and then you fill with wisdom, you fill with understanding, and you start to activate the right hemisphere of your brain, which has been dormant all of your life. Look, you see the same thing in the sky. You see the same thing in nature. The sun right now, as we're sitting talking, the sun in the northern hemisphere is sitting at the right hand. It is sitting in the eastern sky. And what happens when it sits in the eastern, or it sits in the right hand? It brings to life all that was dormant during the winter. It's symbolic too. Paul says the unseen things of God should be made manifest by the things that you can see. In other words, when the sun in the heavens sits at the right hand of power in the eastern sky in the northern hemisphere, summer comes. Everything which was dormant during the winter is gone. Now there are flowers, now there is color, now there is new life. This is what it means. When the Son of Man, the desires of the flesh, the solar plexus is raised to the pineal, the light is at its highest, the power sits at the right hemisphere of the brain, okay? And that then brings to life all that has been dormant in your life during the winter of your soul. Doesn't it make sense? This is what it's about. This is what the hidden meanings of the Bible are about. Everything that is out is in. It is all within you and at your hands to activate it and call it into active participation in your life. Now, and it's never too late. If you're 8 or if you're 98, it doesn't make any difference, because once you raise your consciousness above the thoughts of the mind, there is no age. Lucifer was never a person, was never intended to be a person, was never anybody by the name Lucifer. Lucifer means bright star. Okay? And the reason the name is given Lucifer, the star, and the reason the star, because it has 5 points. Sight, taste, touch, smell, hearing. Bright star. That means when your senses, your ego, are under control of the higher realm of God, then Lucifer. That means everything is under God's control. Fine. But when that star falls, remember Jesus said, I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning, the falling star. That means the 5 senses are now under the control of the ego. Sight, taste, touch, smell, and hearing are under your control. And then we got the problems with sex, we got the problems with drugs, we got the problems with booze, we got the problems with our mouth, we got the problems with gossip, we got the problems with the things we see, we got all the problems with the things that we do. We are now in hell. Satan has arrived. That's what it means. Now, once this star fell, and once the 5 senses come under the control of the ego, okay, and this is what it means, how then are the 5 senses returned back up into the higher realm? There must be the sacrifice of the 5 senses. You've got to give the 5 senses up. You do that by taking no thought. But let me show you how the Bible described it. Jesus comes along, and what happens? He takes the 5 wounds, doesn't he? His hands, 2, his feet, 2, and his side, bang, 5 wounds. And as soon as he takes that 5th wound, he becomes the Christ. He then ascends spiritually, and the 5 senses are returned to God. They fell with Lucifer to Satan. They return to the higher place with God. When the flesh is sacrificed, then the Christ consciousness ascends. That's exactly what the mission is for you. You see, all of this happened where? It happened.
Uh-oh, sorry, hold on. What did I do? I'll fix it. Shoot. I was trying to hook up my drawing pad and I accidentally shared the wrong thing. I shared my computer to my drawing pad and now it's a problem. Let me close this. Close. No. Now it's trying to close OBS. Don't do that. No. How do I get this off here now? 1 second. Parsec. Close.
How the 5 wounds
there we go.
Are acted out in your body. It happens to everybody. The whole message is the changing of the 5 senses of the ego into one, into a oneness with God, right? Well, let me show you how this happened. When you're born, and you can ask any good chiropractor this, when you're born, you have 33 vertebrae. But between the age of 1 and 6, there are 5 vertebrae at the base of your spine area, which fuse into one, and they become the foundation on which you stand. It happens. It happened to you. A miraculous thing happened, or not miraculous, that's a bad word, a natural thing happened to also show you, just as the sun in the sky does, what happens with Lucifer, what happens with Jesus, what happens with the 5 changing into 1. Between the age...
Sorry, I did it again. Stop that. The holy place. And the reason they call it the sacred place or the holy place is because the 5 has come into being 1. And that becomes your foundation. That becomes the entire foundation of Scripture. That becomes the foundation of the fall of man when the 5 are taken over by the ego, becomes the foundation of the resurrection of man when the 5 are given back through meditation and you rise up into Christ consciousness. That's what it's about. That's what happens. That's what the whole Bible is about. So, to anybody who's paying attention or who can recognize when somebody seems to be on the right track, to me, when I look at 2 different ends of the spectrum, and I've got Christians who tell me that the Bible is literal, that men lived in whales, that Jesus walked on water, that he rose from the dead, that all these things happened, and we're supposed to believe it, and it's really important to us to believe in. And then you see the Catholicism basically take anything in the Bible and profane it. You know, it says, call no man your father. They call him father. They call their priest father. Don't decorate trees and put gold and silver on them. They decorate trees, put gold and silver on them for Jesus' birthday. They, took basically dates that were pagan beliefs like Saturnalia or the winter solstice and put Jesus' birthday right there. So they basically were trying to cater to pagans. To think that what makes more sense is what I'm trying to say. That some ancient people wrote some of the mysteries and some of the truths that they think that they'd had into a book that's been passed on for generations, that is veiled truth, some astrotheology, all that mixed in there. Does that seem more realistic, or does it seem like somebody was telling you the real life story of a man who lived here? Because to me, it's a no-brainer. And this is why I've had a big problem with it, right? My biggest problem has been, that doesn't seem like God. God doesn't seem like that kind of person. I don't think God would do those things. I don't think God would order animal sacrifice. I don't think God would do this. I don't think God would sacrifice his son. And the truth is, he wouldn't. That we were on the right track. He would not. So, anybody who's still believing in the book as a religious truth handed down from God is very behind. That's all. And if they cannot get out of that, then that's on them. And we're not going to beg them to come out of it. We're not going to tell them they're going to hell and all the crazy things that they try and tell us. We're just going to move on. It's that simple. So if people are in the chat spiraling and saying, oh no, this is all true because, it's all true. Jesus was here. He's the Lord. He's the Savior. He's the King. You can keep believing that. But again, you're doing the one thing that I think that the Creator would not want done, which is you're worshiping a man. You're worshiping the words of men. You're worshiping a book written by men. You are basically spitting in the eye of in the face of the Creator in worshiping the creation rather than the Creator, right? Which is the creation. Even if you believe in Jesus coming here, Jesus is the Son of God, no different than you're the Son of God, no different than I'm the Son of God. He may have been the first one to kind of enlighten us to some of these truths. Or you could be like this guy and just say he didn't exist in totality, which again, the Christian idea of, well, we know he existed because the ancient or these historians don't question his historicity. And again, I'll say it again. The reason that science and history and all these things cannot question Jesus is because he is in more books, he's mentioned more than many of their heroes, Eratosthenes and Herodotus and all these ancient guys that we have no even books that they ever wrote or anything. It's just like a copy of a copy of a copy. So if they were to go after Jesus and say, we're not calling him real because he's only in this one book and he's only mentioned here and here, then they erase all of their heroes about who they think figured out the sky and who they think figured out the distance to the moon. It would all go by the wayside because we don't have as ample as evidence as we do for them as we do Jesus. But again, and I'll put it simply, once you find out that, and this is just crazy, that the oldest manuscript we have is about 1,000. Okay. So that means we're going to have to take at people's word, at men's word, the 1,000 prior years. If you feel comfortable doing that, go ahead. I don't. I think that that is a folly. We know what men do. We know men corrupt everything. We know men lie. We know men try and get one over on you. We also know that men try and pass on secrets, right? Which is the whole basis of the Rosicrucians, which is the whole basis of the Masonic orders, the whole basis of the Illuminati. So those are things we can show that are true, that there are people who try and pass on truths, but they don't want to tell everybody the truths. They just try and keep them in their circles. And then we look at something like the Bible, and we've got somebody telling us, oh, this was just a book of them trying to pass truths on, which makes a lot more sense than it's a real story. The real story doesn't make any sense. Why is the devil in there, but he never kills anybody? Why is he making bets with God? Why is he going to keep continuing doing what he's doing if he knows the end of the book says God wins? And then what is the point? Like, what is he doing? He's just going to keep playing games until God comes and destroys him. Why is he betting against God about what God's going to do to Job? Makes no sense. You're betting God? I'm pretty sure God would know better than you. Probably shouldn't bet God on anything. But again, it's one after another of these things that are hidden mysteries. And if you are going to be open to the Bible as saying, I'm going to read it for the hidden mysteries, then I want to talk to you. Let's talk. Let's look through the Bible. But I don't get those people. I get people who want to tell me and want to argue that these things really existed. And when I say something like, well, what are you talking about? This talks about slavery. This can't be. And then you got, Jim Bob saying, well, what's morally wrong with slavery? Well, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm not talking to you. You are. It's not just that they left this for the lower people. It's like they almost trap people in that lower mindset where they'll never get out of it. People like that will never come out of it. They're not open to new ideas. They're not open to being wrong. One thing I like about Owen Benjamin is he's always open to being wrong. And he'll admit when he's wrong. So you may not be right today. You may not be right tomorrow. But if you kind of keep watching him, you can watch his exploration as he uncovers new things and explains those. I feel like I'm the same way. If somebody convinces me of something or shows me ample evidence of something, I'm going to report on it and tell you why I've moved it into my belief system. Now, as far as the Bible goes, I'm not finding things like that. I'm finding continuous problems, even with the idea of slavery. And then, Austin telling me to go back and look into the Hebrew. I go back and look at the Hebrew, and it kind of says maidservant, manservant. Well, then I go to Exodus when God is freeing the Hebrews from the Egyptian slavery, and the same word is used. So you can't then tell me, oh, he wasn't talking about slavery. He was talking about paid servants. Okay, well, then the Hebrews were paid servants in Egypt. Why did God go release them? Because that's the thing I'm told. These people wanted to be slaves. They signed up for it. They basically got paid for it. Okay, I can accept that. Maybe there's somebody who didn't have anything, so they went and signed up to be a slave. But then later, again, Exodus, we're told that God freed these Egyptian slaves. They were being treated horribly, the Hebrew slaves in Egypt. And we're told that the reason he killed the Egypt's firstborn is because they were doing all these crazy things to the Hebrews. Well, then if the same word is used in the Bible, then it wasn't that they signed up for that. Nobody's signed up with the Egyptians. Like, I want to be a slave for you guys. Go ahead and kill my babies. So this is the problem that you run into. Even when you go back and you dig deep into the Hebrew, you're going to always run into the problem of there being issues with the things said in the Bible. I don't know how anybody, and I've told a couple people to do this recently, is to go to Leviticus. Let me show you my Bible here. So to go to Leviticus, and I said just read chapters 1 through 3 or something. If you want to really figure out whether or not this is God that is is the author of this Bible. Because you cannot read it and believe that. And I believe that wholeheartely. And so it bothers me. It's like, if we read this and people still go, nope, that's God. I don't know where to go from there. I'm like, you really think the God of this world, the creator of this world, is this guy? I don't know. Let's see what chapter we should start at. So I really do think if you read 1 through 3, but I see chapter 4 is sin offerings for the priests. Chapter 5 is for the community. Let's go with this. We'll just read this for a little bit. So I'm just going to read this Leviticus. What's up here on the screen? Okay, good. So this is Leviticus chapter 4. We're going to start with. Okay. And we'll start chapter 3, peace offerings. Chapter 3, Leviticus. If someone is presenting a peace offering, makes his offering from the herd, he may offer before the Lord either a male or female animal, but it must be without blemish. He shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and then slaughter it at the entrance of the meeting tent. But Aaron's sons, the priests, shall splash its blood on the sides of the altar. From the peace offering he shall offer an oblation to the Lord of the fatty membrane over the inner organs and all the fat that adheres to them, as well as the 2 kidneys, with the fat on them near the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall sever above the kidneys. All this Aaron's son shall then burn on the altar with the holocaust, on the wood over the fire, a sweet-smelling oblation to the Lord. If the peace offering he presents to the Lord is from the flock, he may offer either a male or female animal, but it must be without blemish. But if he presents a lamb as his offering, he shall bring it forth to the Lord, and after laying his hand on the head of the offering, he shall slaughter it before the meeting tent, but Aaron's son shall splash its blood on the sides of the altar. As an oblation to the Lord, he shall present the fat of the peace offering, the whole fatty tail, which he must sever close to the spine, the fatty membrane over the inner organs, and all the fat that adheres to them, as well as to the 2 kidneys with the fat on them near the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he must sever above the kidneys. All this the priest shall burn on the altar as the food of the Lord's oblation. If he presents a goat, he shall bring it before the Lord, and after laying his hand on its head, he shall slaughter it before the meeting tent, but Aaron's son shall splash its blood on the sides of the altar. From it he shall offer an oblation to the Lord, the fatty membrane over the inner organs, and all the fat that adheres to them, as well as the 2 kidneys with the fat on them near the loins, the lobe of the liver, which he must sever above the kidneys. All of this the priest shall burn on the altar as the food of the sweet-smelling oblation. All the fat belongs to the Lord. This shall be a perpetual ordinance for all your descendants wherever you may dwell. You shall not partake of any fat or the blood. So, in reading that, you have to recognize that what we're reading here is just some ancient nonsense. Okay? There is no God of this world who has ever demanded these things, that is talking about splashing blood on altars, that's talking about which fat goes to God, the sweet-smelling oblation to the Lord. God doesn't have a nose. He doesn't smell. This is men describing God in ancient times and giving him a nose, thinking that he wants the smell of burning flesh. It is not. Today, we are above that. Some of you are not. Some of you have not gotten there. Some of you believe, for whatever reason, that this is real, that this is really God who's... So again, this is chapter after chapter of the same thing. If I read chapter 7, you would be like, well, that's the same thing you just read. It's garbage. It should not be in what is called the Bible. If God is giving direction to humanity, why would this be in there? What part of this is needed to be known? Do you feel differently now that you know what happened back then? Do you feel like you're a better human being because of it? Because what this is doing is making worse human beings. He's requiring human beings to come into his altar, slaughter animals, take certain parts, splashing blood, and then we're like, oh, the humanity's been corrupted. They're just murderous in their thoughts. I wonder why. Somebody taught them, how about being taught circumcision, right? There is a big group of people that is still genetically or mutilating the genitals of children when they're born because God demanded it of Israel back in the day. Is that really what you think? The creator of this world came down and said, I want you to cut the tips of the penises off of these boys so I know that they're mine. It's a mark of the covenant. And again, when they say God never changes, it's always the same, we just read at the end of that, it made very clear, all of this the priest shall burn on the altar of the food of the sweet-smelling oblation. All the fat belongs to the Lord. This shall be a perpetual ordinance for your descendants wherever they may dwell. If you don't know what perpetual means, it means forever, for all times. So why aren't these things still being done if people believe in this book and they think, oh, well, you don't have to do that thing anymore. Jesus came and changed. Well, then the Bible's wrong. It said here perpetual ordinance. That does not allow for Jesus to come and change it. Doesn't make sense. Okay? So that's my whole point, is that you can just read. Anybody who's a Christian, I believe, has not read the Bible. You cannot read the Old Testament and be like, yes, I worship this God. If you do, you're afraid of it. You're afraid of going to hell, and so you're not. And again, that's up to you. You can do that if you want. I just think that there is, that's going to be a cost on your, if you want to call it your salvation, your soul. I think that you'll be, I believe in reincarnation. I think you'll come back if you weren't a bad person. If you're a bad person, I just think the lights go out. We'll never see you again. Let's go to Leviticus here. What are we at? 4 still? 4. I'm just going to kind of go through and I'll point out some different things here. So this is like Leviticus 4:15. And here before the Lord, the elders of the community shall lay their hands on the bullock's head. When the bullock has been slaughtered before the Lord, the anointed priest shall bring some of the blood into the meeting tent, and dripping his finger in the blood, he shall sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord, towards the veil. He shall also put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of fragrant incense, which is before the Lord of the meeting tent. Now, just right there, we wonder why people are superstitious. Well, if God's superstitious, what is he telling you to sprinkle it 7 times for? What happens if you sprinkle it 6 times? What happens if you sprinkle it 8 times? So what you can start to read into this is there's probably more to this that we're missing. We're not just supposed to read it as this is what was going on. When these numbers are put in here, sprinkling it of 7 times, we need to look into what the deeper meaning behind some of these numbers are. If you're trying to get truth out of this. Now, what the truth is not is there's a God who's demanding these things of people. Okay? That's what you've been told to believe. Like, this is who the Lord is. You better worship him. This person sounds like a demon to me. Okay? Let's see here. We're just going to 4:27. If a private person commits a sin inadvertently by doing one of the things which are forbidden by the commandments of the Lord, and thus becomes guilty, should he later on learn that his sin he committed, he shall bring an unblemished she-goat as an offering for his sin. So now this person has sinned. They've realized they've sinned. They're bringing a she-goat to God. Having laid his hand, as an offering for his sin. Having laid his hand on the head of the sin offering, so now you've laid your head on this goat, he shall slaughter it at the place of the Holocaust. Now you've got this human being slaughtering the goat, the she-goat. The priest shall then take some of its blood on his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of the Holocaust. Very important that we take the blood of the she-goat, put it on the horns that are sitting on the altar. Very important. The rest of the blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. All the fat shall be removed, just as the fat is removed from the peace offering, and the priest shall burn it on the altar for an odor pleasing to the Lord. So the odor, God loves the smell of his creations, the animals that he, created and put here, to be slaughtered and then burned. God's like, I love that smell. Do that some more. Thus the priest shall make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven. Now we've just taught, God has taught people that if you sin, all you need to do is kill a she-goat, sprinkle its blood, make it smell good to the Lord, and now you're forgiven of your sin. If you don't see that's a problem, I don't know what's wrong with you. I can't fathom how you are still stuck. And again, I realize I was a Christian too, but nobody ever read it to me like this and asked me, Jaron, why do you believe this is God? I'd be like, I don't. Yeah, exactly. Why would you continue believing in a religion that tells you this is God? You know what? You're right. No one ever sat me down and told me that, because I was given the churchianity thing where, you sit and listen to the beautiful stories. Oh, the parable of the lost son. And oh, Jesus said this on the mount. Oh, great. Fantastic. That sounds like a great religion. But it doesn't, Jesus basically, aren't we supposed to believe that he is this God? So Jesus went from slaughtering animals, telling them that he loves the smell of their burnt flesh, to love your neighbor, love your enemy, turn the other cheek, hang me from the cross. I don't care. I'll be back to get my enemies. This is not the same person. Stop believing in nonsense and making excuses for it. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. And it goes on.
Yes.
Hey, thank you.
Yes.
Somebody bought me a smoothie, but it doesn't say who. Thank you very much for the smoothie, someone. I appreciate that. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Jeranism if you want to join that person, but you can put your name in an actual message if you like. So, I'm just seeing if there's, again, it's like I said, all of Leviticus is the same story basically over and over again. It's just all the sin offering, the burnt offering, the guilt offerings, prohibition against blood and fat. The Lord said to Moses, tell the Israelites, you shall not eat of the fat of any ox or sheep or goat, although the fat of an animal that has died a natural death or has been killed by wild beasts may be put to any other use. You may not eat it. If anyone eats of the fat of an animal from which an oblation is made to the Lord, such a one shall be cut off from his people. Wherever you dwell, you shall not partake in any blood, be it of an animal or bird. Every person who partakes in any blood shall be cut off from his people. The Lord said to Moses, tell the Israelites, he who presents a peace offering to the Lord shall bring part of it special offering to him, carrying it with his own hands, the oblations to the Lord. The fat is to be brought in, together with the beast offering before the Lord. The priest shall burn the fat of the altar, but the breast belongs to Aaron and his sons. Moreover, from your peace offering, you shall give to the priest the right leg as a raised offering. The descendants of Aaron, who offer up the blood and the fat of the peace offering, shall have the right leg and his portion. From the peace offerings of the Israelites, I have taken the breast that is waved and the leg that is raised, and I shall give it to Aaron the priest and to his sons by a perpetual ordinance as a contribution from the Israelites. This is the priestly share from the oblations of the Lord, allotted to Aaron and his sons on the day he called them to be priests of the Lord. On that day he anointed them. Lord ordered Israelites to give him their share by a perpetual ordinance throughout the generations. This is the ritual for holocausts, cereal offerings, sin offerings, guilt offerings, ordination offerings, and peace offerings, which the Lord enjoined on Moses at Mount Sinai at the time when he commanded the Israelites in the wilderness of Sinai to bring their offerings to the Lord. So again, the more I read this, it's hilarious because people always tell you, you've never read the Bible. If you read the Bible, there's no way you can believe this is the creator of the world. There's just no way. And if you do, then you live in a different world than me. Completely different world than me. And then getting to chapter, what chapter are we at now? 10, 11. At least there's not some of the same stuff. It looks like they're getting into different stories here. Yeah, I mean, just chapter 12. I mean, uncleanliness of childbirth. Now, nobody practices this. You guys want to yell at me, tell me that the God is real, that this God is the God of the world, Jesus is this God, whatever. And then you read stuff like this where you're like, the Lord said to Moses, tell the Israelites, when a woman has conceived and gives birth to a boy, she shall be unclean for 7 days, with the same uncleanliness at her menstrual period. On the 8th day, the flesh of the boy's foreskin shall be circumcised. And then she shall spend 33 days more in becoming purified in her blood. She shall not touch anything sacred nor enter the sanctuary till the days of her purification are fulfilled. Stop right there. Again, that 33, we can recognize now that there's more to read into this. It's not that God thinks you're tainted for 33 days after you give birth to a boy. How do we know that? Well, it continues. If she gives birth to a girl, for 14 days she'll be unclean as her menstruation, after which she shall spend 66 days in becoming purified of her blood. So now if you give birth to a girl, you're dirty way longer, because we all know women are just filthy. Women are way less than men. And so, of course, if a man's 33 days, woman 66 days that you're dirty, makes sense. Have more boys. When the days of her purification for a son and daughter are fulfilled, she shall bring to the priest at the entrance of the meeting tent a yearling lamb for a holocaust, and a pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering. So now that you've given birth to a child, you better bring an animal to God and kill it. Yep. Makes sense. The priest shall offer them up to the Lord to make atonement for her. Now she has to make atonement. She had a baby, but she has to make atonement because God doesn't want you to have a baby, I guess. So bring me an animal, a turtle dove, and a firstling from the flock so that we can kill that animal and I can smell the great smell. The priest shall offer them as a sin offering and offer them up before the Lord to make atonement for her, and thus she will be clean, again after her flow of blood. Such is the law for the women who give birth to a boy or to a girl. If, however, she cannot afford a lamb, oh good, because you have to think about that, she may take 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons, the one for the holocaust, the other for the sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for her, and thus she will be clean again. So again, as long as you bring a dead animal and kill it in front of the Lord, then you can be considered clean. I mean, this is definitely the creator of the world. Look around you, the trees, the flowers, everything beautiful, the clouds, the sky, human beings, the glory that is childbirth, the mystery behind that, and then read this book and tell me that they jive. They don't. Okay, they don't. See here, so we just gonna go. What time are we at? Okay, we're almost there. Almost ready for phone calls. Just giving you a little bit more here, and I don't know where the story is. Is it in Leviticus? That is a terrible story that God says who can come to His church and who can't. You know. And again, this one's big for me because Mrs. Brother was born without a hand. He's religious. Wait, what? No. God. I don't know how to search for it. I think he also says something about like ugly people. It's funny because if you ever look something up, like on the internet, if you tried to look up, why doesn't God let ugly people? Well, then there's always these Christian apologetists that just make excuses for God. You know, it's like there is no such thing as an ugly person. And I've heard it say that God doesn't like ugly people, and then they'll make excuses for it when they don't realize they're like, everybody's beautiful in God's eyes. Well, then why did He say some of the things He did? I'm trying to find where that exactly is. Let's see here. Why would I search that for? It's like God doesn't like deformed would be, I guess, what I would look up. Doesn't like deformed. Where is that at? Leviticus. No, it is Leviticus 21:8. Okay, so now let's read this, and you tell me if this sounds like your God that you worship and you pray to and you believe is good and gracious and loving and the most just God and all that stuff, right? So irregularities. Okay, so it says here, the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and tell him this: none of your descendants, of whatever generation, who has any defect, shall come forward to offer up the food of his God. Therefore, he who has any of the following defects may not come forward: he who is blind or lame, or who has any disfigurement or malformation, or a crippled foot or a crippled hand, or who is a humpback or is weakly, or wall-eyed, or who is afflicted with eczema, ringworm, or hernia. No descendant of Aaron the priest who has any such defect may draw near or offer up the oblations to the Lord. On account of his defect, he may not draw near or offer up food to his God. He may, however, partake of the food of his God, but what is most sacred as well as what is most... What? Of God, of what is most sacred as well as of what is sacred. Only he may not approach the veil, nor go up to the altar on account of his defect. He shall not profane the things that are sacred to me, for it is I, the Lord, who make them sacred. Moses therefore told Aaron and his sons and all the Israelites. Again, that doesn't even make sense. God created these people, but he doesn't allow them to come to the altar because they're maimed, on account of their defect. And again, if you're sitting there right now and making it, well, I mean, because he only likes the clean people. I mean, it's literal retardation, really. It really is. We'll just read this. I went over here. This is various sexual offenses. Well, let's go. Chapter 20, penalties for various sins. Where does it go? 19 here. Various rules of conduct. I mean, none of these will be followed in any way nowadays, I'm sure. Do not go to mediums or consult fortune tellers, for you will be defiled by them. I, the Lord, am your God. Okay. Well,
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Get there in time.
Yes.
JR, thank you very much. 5 times 1,000. I haven't seen you lately. 3 smoothies. Thank you very kindly. Where are we at? Oh, here. If a man has carnal relations with a female slave who has already been living with another man, but has not yet been redeemed or given her freedom, they shall be punished, but not put to death, because she is not free. The man, moreover, shall bring to the entrance of the meeting tent a ram as his guilt offering to the Lord. With the ram, the priest shall make atonement for the Lord for the sin he has committed, and it will be forgiven to him. Do you really think God said that? Do you really think that God is ordering people to bring dead animals or bring animals and slaughter them so that their sins are forgiven? And you get everything. I've heard people say, oh, this is a precursor. God is precursing people to get ready for him to have to sacrifice his son to it's literal retardation. You don't think that. God is ordering people back in the days to bring animals to forgive sins, and you think that this is like, oh, this is a precursor. He's teaching people that eventually he'll need to send his son. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, it's embarrassing. It really is. Let's see here. So where are we at? Oh, yeah, here we go. Penalties for various sins. He told Moses, tell the Israelites, anyone, whether an Israelite or alien residing in Israel, who gives of his offspring to Moloch, shall be put to death. Let his fellow citizens stone him. Okay, number 1. If there is somebody out there who is putting their children through, sacrificing their children to Moloch, okay, I wonder if they learned it by the fact that you have people sacrificing animals to you. Just a guess. Maybe they've learned that the wrong way. But then you say, let his fellow citizens stone him. What kind of person do you think you create if you have them stone somebody? If I've got a classroom of a bunch of seniors in high school and they're all just decent people, not bad, but then one of them does something wrong and I say, okay, that's it. Line up here. You guys are going to stone that guy. They'd be like, what? We're going to stone this guy. Do you think that after numerous times doing that, do you think that the people that we're stoning are better people? Or do you think that they're worse, like demonic people now? So the book is responsible for the demons in this world that they still stone people. I wonder why. I wonder what they believe that makes them still stone people. I myself will turn against such a man and will cut him off from the body of his people. For in giving his offspring to Moloch, he has defiled my sanctuary and profaned my holy name. Even if his fellow citizens connive at such a man's crime of giving his offspring to Moloch and fail to put him to death, I myself will set my face against that man and his family and will cut off from them the people, both him and all who join him in his wanton worship of Moloch. Should anyone turn to mediums or fortune tellers and follow their wanton ways, I will turn against such a one and cut him off from his people. Sanctify yourself, then, be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Be careful, therefore, to observe what I do. Be careful, therefore, to observe what I, the Lord, who made you holy, have prescribed. Various sexual offenses. Anyone who curses his father or mother shall be put to death. That's a little strict. I don't know anybody who's listening to this show. I don't know anybody right now who would tell me that they've never cursed their mother or father. You all have cursed your mother and father. Should you all have been stoned by the townspeople at that time? Okay. For he has forfeited his life. If a man commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, Both the adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. If a man disgraces his father by lying with his father's wife, both the man and his stepmother shall be put to death. They have forfeited their lives. If a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall be put to death, since they have committed an abhorrent deed. They have forfeited their lives. If a man lies with a male, as with a woman, both of them shall be put to death. For their abominable deed, they have forfeited their lives. If a man marries a woman, and her mother also, the man and the two women shall be put to death. If a man marries a woman, and her mother also, the man and the two women as well shall be burned to death for their shameful conduct. Now God's having you burn people to death, so that such shamefulness may not be found among you. That worked well. If a man has carnal relations with an animal, the man shall be put to death, and the animal shall be slain. The animal is really guilty. If a woman goes up to any animal to mate with it, the woman and the animal shall be slain. Again, stupid horse. Let them both be put to death. Their lives are forfeited. If a man consummates a marriage with his sister or half-sister, they shall be publicly cut off from their people for this shameful deed. The man shall pay the penalty of having had intercourse with his own sister. If a man lies in sexual intercourse with a mother during her menstrual period, both of them shall be cut off from their people, because they have laid bare the flowing fountain of her blood. You shall not have any intercourse with your mother's sister or your father's sister. Whoever does so shall pay the penalty of incest. If a man disgraces his uncle by having intercourse with his uncle's wife, the man and his aunt should pay the penalty of dying childless. I mean, what is that? We know that that's not true. We know that that's true. It can be proven that if a man disgraces his uncle by having intercourse with his uncle's wife, which has probably happened many, many times, the man and his aunt shall pay the penalty by dying childless. It's a false statement. It's a false statement. Your book is not true. It's not inerrant. It's not God's holy word. It's garbage. If a man marries his brother's wife and thus disgraces his brother, they shall be childless because of the incest. Be careful to observe all my statutes and all my decrees. Otherwise, the land where I am bringing you to dwell in will vomit you out. Do not conform, therefore, to the customs of nations whom I am driving out your way, because all these things that they have done have filled me with disgust for them. But to you I have said, their land shall be your possession, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am giving it to you as your own. I, the Lord your God, who have set you apart from other nations. You too must set apart then the clean animals. And I get people like, Austin tells me that they're not nations, that actually Israel means believer and non-Israel. No, it's clear here what was being said. We're talking about a love of a certain group of people. It's very racist, and they're still running the world today thinking that they can do whatever they want because they're God's chosen people. A man and a woman who acts as a medium or fortune teller shall be put to death by stoning. They have no one but themselves to blame for their death. Wow. So we should be stoning the fortune tellers and the mediums that are out there. Seems a little bit harsh, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So we've talked about the defects. All right, we'll go to phone calls. Just reading here. Where was the Day of Atonement? New Year's Day. I don't know what that is about. The Feast of Booths, whatever that means. The showbread. Yes, God wants the showbread. Punishment for blasphemy. Oh, I want to learn about this. I have to line up for this. Let's see. See if we should stone me. I'm probably guessing I should be stoned. Among the Israelites, there was a man born of an Israelite mother, Salomith, daughter of Debri, of the tribe of Dan, and an Egyptian father. This man quarreled publicly with another Israelite and cursed and blasphemed the Lord's name. So the people brought him to Moses, who kept him in custody till a decision from the Lord should settle the case for them. So remember, he's blaspheming. They go to Moses. Moses, this guy's blaspheming. Moses said, I'll go talk to God. So we get to find out what God really ultimately thinks we should do here. The Lord then said to Moses, take this blasphemer outside the camp, and when all who have heard him have laid their hands on his head, let the whole community stone him. Tell the Israelites, anyone who curses his God shall bear the penalty of his sin. Whoever blasphemes the name of the Lord shall be put to death. The whole community shall stone him. Alien and native alike must be put to death for blaspheming the Lord's name. Whoever takes the life of any human being shall be put to death. Whoever takes the life of an animal shall make restitution for another animal. It's so weird that it just said, that's the sentence after that. Anyone who curses his God shall bear the penalty of his sin. Whoever blasphemes the name of the Lord shall be put to death. The whole community, all these people, shall stone him. Okay, the next line. whoever takes the life of any human being shall be put to death. Well, what about the people who just stoned that guy to death? That doesn't count? Oh, well, except for if the Lord ordered you to kill somebody, in which case those people no. Only when you do things on your own, you don't. When the Lord didn't tell you to kill somebody and you go kill somebody, you need to die. But those people don't die because they've stoned you. Okay, makes sense. I get it. No, I don't get it. Is what I'm basically trying to say. Oh, the reward of obedience. Let's hear what happens if we do all these things. I want to learn what is my reward. Not make what? I don't know what the first letter of this thing is. D? Do not make false gods for yourselves. Okay. I wonder if anybody's making false gods for themselves. You shall not erect an idol or a sacred pillar for yourselves, nor shall you set up a stone figure for worship in your land. For the Lord am your God, keep the Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary, I am the Lord. So that seems weird to me, because if we go to, what are they called? Catholic cathedrals. Is that what they're called? Cathedral. And again, people are like, I'm not Catholic. I know, but that's great for you. Good job. You're figuring it out. But everywhere in a Catholic cathedral are these stone figures. They're all over. Right? Oops, don't do that. I don't want to listen to church. Mary and Joseph, pray for us. Michael the Archangel. So you go over here and we've got this. Whoops, I said click it. What is going on? There we go.
Today I want to talk a little bit about ugly art in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, you think? I mean, all these things are stone figures of an idol. They're made of gold and silver. They are sitting everywhere. They're all over.
It looks like it could be
quiet. They're everywhere. It's the constant. There's the snake in the UN building. But I mean, look at this. The Pope standing behind this statue of like Jesus as a demon or something. Again, hopefully people know, if you're a Catholic, good luck for you on that one. I don't know what to tell you. I think that you just need to look around and realize how much is being put in your face is reverent or is holy, and it's not. It's not. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, so something like this. I mean, everything that they do is this idolatry. Pray to Mary. Pray to this guy. Here's Mary with her statue with her head of diadems. Look at these stone statues. Praying, putting lights to them, kneeling in front of them, worshiping them. How does anybody think this is anything but profane? It is clearly profane. And it's disgusting. I mean, everywhere. This is kind of what I was talking about here. Can we see? Oh, it's a short light. But like throughout this church, these are all just statues. Statue. And all these little vestibules are little statues, little idols. It's really disgusting. I mean, there's no way that you'd think God likes that. This organ music and these statues everywhere of different humans who lived, and people worship them, go kneel in front of them. There's no way. Yet people, I mean, look at this little statue here. I'm trying to think of the name of the church that you can look at. What's the St. Peter's Basilica? I believe is what it's called. Basilica. Do we have pictures here? Opening hours. They have like great things where you can go in there and actually tour it. I don't know if this is one of them. No, it doesn't look like it. But I mean, look at these. I mean, look at the everything. Statue. And we just read again, Make not false idols for yourselves. You shall not erect an idol or a sacred pillar for yourselves, nor shall you set up a stone figure for worship in your land. For I, the Lord, am your God, and keep your Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you live in accordance with the precepts and are careful to observe my commandments, I will give you rain. Now notice, there was no afterlife to the ancient Hebrews. In the Old Testament, find me where it talks about heaven or hell. Find me where it says that you get to get an afterlife with God and you live up with Jesus at his right hand, eating banquets and stuff. You don't. He will give you rain in due season, so that the land will bear its crops and the trees will fruit. Your threshing will last till vintage time, and your vintage till the time of sowing. And you will have food to eat in abundance, so that you may dwell securely in your land. I will establish peace in the land, that you may lie down and rest without anxiety. I will rid the country of ravenous beasts, and keep the sword of war from sweeping across your land. You will rout your enemies and lay them low with your sword. Imagine what God's saying here. I will make sure that nobody hurts you, but when you go and take over nations, you will destroy them. You will cut them off at the hip with your awesome sword. 5 of you will put 100 of your foes to fight, and 100 of you will chase 10,000 of them, till they are cut down by your sword. I will look with favor upon you, and make with you fruitful and numerous, as I carry out my covenant with you. So much of the old crops will you have stored up for food that you will have to discard them to make room for the new. I will set my dwelling among you, and will not disdain you. Ever present in your midst, I will be your God, and you will be my people. For it is I, the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, and freed you from within their slavery, breaking the yoke they had laid upon you, and letting you walk erect. And here's discussing. Here's the punishment for disobedience. But if you do not heed me, and do not keep all these commandments, if you reject my precepts and spurn my decrees, refusing to obey these commandments and breaking my covenant, then I in turn will give you your deserts. I will punish you with terrible woes, with wasting and fever to dim the eyes and sap the life. You will sow your seed in vain, for your enemies will consume the crop. I will turn against you, till you are beaten down before your enemies and lorded over by your foes. You will take flight, though no one pursues you. If even after this you do not obey me, I will increase the chastisement for your sins 7-fold, to break your haughty confidence. I will make the sky above you as hard as iron, and your soil as hard as bronze, so that your strength will be spent in vain. Your land will bear no crops, its trees will have no fruit. If then you become defiant in your unwillingness to obey me, I will multiply my blows upon you another 7-fold, as your sins deserve. I will unleash the wild beasts against you, to rob you and your children and wipe out your livestock, till your population dwindles away and your roads become deserted. If, with all this, you still refuse to be chastened by me, and you continue to defy me, I too will defy you, and will smite you for your sins 7 times harder than before. I will make the sword the avenger of my covenant. I will sweep over you. Though you are then huddled together in your walled cities, I will send in pestilence among you, till you are forced to surrender to the enemy. And I will cut off from the supply of bread. 10 women will need but 1 oven for baking all the bread they dole out to you in rations, not enough food and to still your hunger. If despite all this you still persist in disobeying and defying me, I also will meet you with a fiery defiance and will chastise you with 7-fold fiercer punishments for your sins, till you begin to eat the flesh of your own sons and daughters. I will demolish you. I will demolish your high places. I will overthrow your incense stands. I will cast corpses of those of your idols. In my abhorrence to you, I will lay waste your cities and devastate your sanctuaries, refusing to accept your sweet-smelling offerings. So devastated will I leave the land that your very enemies who come to live here will stand against thee at the sight of it. You yourselves I will scatter among the nations at the point of my drawn sword, leaving your countryside desolate and your cities deserted. Then shall the land retrieve its lost Sabbaths during all the time that it lies to waste. While you are in the land of your enemies, then shall the land have rest and make up for its Sabbaths. During all this time that it lies desolate, enjoying the rest that you would not let it have on the Sabbaths that you live there. Those of you who survive in the lands of their enemies, I will make so faint-hearted that if leaves rustle behind them, they will flee headlong. And if from the sword, though no one pursues them, stumbling over another as if they were escaping a weapon, while no one is after them, so helpless will you be to take stand against your foes. You will be lost among the Gentiles, swallowing it up as if your enemy's country. Those of you who survive in the lands of their enemies will waste away for their own father's guilt. Thus they will have to confess that they and their fathers were guilty of having rebelled against me and having defiled me, so that I too had to defy them and bring them into their enemy's land. Then, when their uncircumcised hearts are humbled and they make amends for their guilt, I will remember my covenant with Jacob, my covenant with Isaac, my covenant with Abraham, and the land too. I will be mindful, but the land must be rid of them. That is its desolation, it may make up its lost Sabbaths. And they too, that make good of the debt of their guilt for having spurned my precepts and abhorred my statutes. Yet even so, even while they are in their enemy's land, I will not reject or spurn them, lest by wiping away and wiping them out, I make void my covenant with them. For I, the Lord, am your God. I will remember them because of my covenant I made with their forefathers, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt under their very eyes of the Gentiles. And I, the Lord your God, might be their God. Conclusion. These are the precepts, decrees, and laws which the Lord had Moses promulgate on Mount Sinai in the pact between himself and the Israelites. So, if you read that, and we're like, yeah, it's my God. Yep, it's my God. I worship him. I love him. And, I worship him, pray to him. Boy. I can't even, let's read the very last chapter, Leviticus 27, verse 26 to the end. It's just a couple paragraphs. Note, it's called Offerings Not to be Redeemed. Note that a firstborn animal, which as such already belongs to the Lord, may not be dedicated by vow to him. If it is an ox or a sheep, it shall be ceded to the Lord. But if it is an unclean animal, it may be redeemed by paying 1/5 more than its fixed value. If it is not redeemed, it shall be sold at its fixed value. Note also that any one of his possessions, which a man vows as doomed to the Lord, whether it is a human being or an animal or a hereditary field, shall be neither sold nor ransomed. Everything that is thus doomed becomes most sacred to the Lord. All human beings that are doomed lose the right to be redeemed. They must be put to death. All tithes of the land, whether in grain from the fields or in fruit from the trees, belong to the Lord, as sacred to him. If someone wishes to buy back any of those tithes, he shall pay 1/5 more than their value. The tithes of the herd and the flock shall be determined by ceding to the Lord as sacred every 10th animal, as they are counted by the herdsman's rod. It shall not matter whether good ones or bad ones are thus chosen, and no exchange may be made. If any exchange is attempted, both the original animal and its substitute shall be treated as sacred, without the right of being brought back. These are the commandments which the Lord has given Moses at the Mount Sinai of Israelites. So again, this is a disgusting book. It's just garbage, really. Now, is there some hidden thing in there? I could look for it. I don't see anything just sticking out. There's some numbers in there that seem to add up to some of the things we were talking about. But it's crazy that people worship that God and want to tell me that we're going to hell for not doing it. When it's clearly, and you can tell now, listen to that guy talk about the number 9. What you can tell is that these truths were hidden in there, and then they really meant for the Bible to be believed by the scum. Again, I've talked about it before. We can tell the education system is not made for them, for the elite. It's made for the plebs, the taxpayers. They want to make you smart enough to think you're smart, that you know something, and so dumb that you never see the truth. They've done a beautiful job. Wouldn't you agree? I would. Let me see if we can get a tour here. I just want to show you this guided page. Usually you can get like a nice St. Basilica 3D tour. I don't know. You can walk through here and just see that there's a guided tour. No, that's not going to find it. I don't know. VR tours? Maybe. Where's the Basilica? Peter Square, Choir Chapel, Altar Apse. No. Peter Square, Altar of St. Jerome, Pieta, Nave, South Transit, North. I don't even know these places. Anybody ever been here? My mom went here. I've never been there. Never been to the Vatican. All right, so this is nice. But I mean, again, this is just what I'm showing you is that look at the statues everywhere. And it's just exactly what the Bible's telling you not to do, and yet these guys do it. Is that a Mason symbol? Can't see that right there. Oh, no, something else. I mean, I can't believe that people would think this is what God would want, that God's proud of this. That he's like, yeah, he's going to be so proud of us. Look, we adorn these things with constant statues and crosses, and it's all just so gross to me. Oops, keep moving this way. Do not put pillars up for yourself. And look at this seat. Look at this altar. Do you think that God gives a shit about this? And make sure you put this lady up here and make sure you have her tits out over here. Can you see that part? No, you can't. Over here. There you go. It's just awful. It really is awful. And gross. And the complete opposite of what you would think any kind of creator God would want. It's got to be just so disappointing to that God. If even if the God that people believe in exists, in my mind, there is no God sitting outside of this watching it. So it's not like he can really be that disappointed. He is each of us. He's responsible for it all. But I mean, it's each individual soul. What is that? An earth up there? A ball? What is that? Let's get up here. Up there. Can't really see if it's got any continents on it or anything. A lot of these things up here, like I've seen this before, it kind of looks like the Baphomet cross. I'm guessing this is supposed to be God. Does God want... Oh, you can't see over there. Let me actually change this. There you go. Now you can see what I see. I guess it's supposed to be God. And it's like, here's God writing a book. Oh, I'll just send my Bible down to the people. Yeah. Whatever you say. It's just constant everywhere. And like my mom was somebody who would go here and I felt God there, Jaron. Yeah, because you think that that's the problem with these places is that once you become religious and you go to like a Baptist church or whatever, you're going to feel like, I felt God there. Well, it's the same thing as somebody who goes to a football game or a baseball game. It's like, the crowd was electric. Yeah. You got people together, people who believe the same thing, and you can get some magical feelings. All these children laying down, worshiping these old men. This child is a chain. Can you see that? There's a chain there to this guy who's reading books. Look at this is what they want you to be. They want you to be these holy men. These are the guys that go to heaven, the guys who wear these cloaks and kneel and pray to God all day. It's all you got to do. What's going on over here? What is this? Is it like a naked boy who's like leaning at the waist of this guy? I mean, it's just disgusting. And look at all these people just loving it, just thinking that I spent all day very holy reverence of the Lord. Sure he did. Look at this altar, is disgusting. What is this? It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. This looks like a Baphomet thing or something. I don't even know what it is. But it's just gross. It's just gross. God doesn't like organ music, by the way. It's terrible. Gotta have Mary doing I don't know what. Very sad or something. And they're just everywhere. So pretty crazy that, what is apps? Appsy. Oh, that's all. I get it. So these are all different places inside that building. What is this? And I wouldn't even doubt if this is like real gold. Might not be, but I wouldn't doubt it. And they're like telling you, give to the poor, give to the less fortunate. I wouldn't even doubt that this is solid gold. And it's gross. What even is this? So I know most people listening to this are probably don't believe in these things. Would love to know what that says in Latin, but I don't read Latin. So I get most people are gonna be like, no, we hate the Catholic Church. They are disgusting, and it's not okay. But recognize if you're a Christian and you believe in the Bible, who got together and created that book? Who chose what books to go in it? What books come out? And again, we can't say that they didn't choose the actual text to go in there because we wouldn't know. The oldest manuscript is from the year 1000, meaning there was 1,000 years back before that they could have changed anything and we would never know. We would never know. So you are believing in the words of men if you believe in Christianity. There's no other way to look at it. You wouldn't have come to any of those conclusions on your own. Meaning if there was no book, there was no Bible, you would have not realized Jesus was the Lord of this world. You would still know that there's a God. You would still know that you were created, but all the other things that go with it are man-made. Mary, it's like we didn't talk about that. Mary how old was she? 12? 13? It's just crazy, the things that we're told to believe. So let's take phone calls. Let's have you guys come in and say what you will. And we are going to do that at tinyurl.com/ what is it? What is it again? tinyurl.com. I can't remember the name of the site. That's weird. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. It's cornerism, right? Yeah, it's still cornerism. So there you go. It's don't call the phone number. Let me move that down actually so that you don't accidentally call that number. I'm not going to turn it on. It costs too much money. Let's go down. Just bring it down a little bit. Hello? I said bring it down a little bit. Why is it only giving me resize options? Hello? Oh, I just saw it. There we go. There we go. All right. Let me open up the StreamYard and then you guys can jump in. I'm just trying to fix this little. That should work, I think. Let's see if that works any better. Can we get that on the screen? Go. There you go. tinyurl.com/cornerism. Let me get on there myself. I'll go to StreamYard. You don't need to be on camera if you don't want to be. I know most people just want to call in. You can do that, but we are going to put the clock on so that we don't get carried away. And if my clock is working today, let's do a 4-minute clock. 4 minutes, go. Okay, good. We got the clock working. And when you hear the bell, it means time to wrap it up. So let's go to StreamYard here. And you can talk about anything. Mostly it should be about religious nature, if you will, or religious items. The number 9, I was going to go over a couple other things. I think there's enough with the 9 that I want to almost do it on my regular show, on the Jeranism show, but I could show you some other things. There's just so many things like we showed with the number 9, multiples of 9, that always reduces to 9. Talking about the stuff in Revelation. So we said 144,000 is the 9. If you look up in Revelation where it talks about cubits, right? So Revelation cubits. We've got Revelation 21. Oh, yeah. So, and he measured its wall to be 144 cubits. Well, what's 144? 1 plus 4 plus 4 is 9. Okay, so what if we looked up what is a cubit? How long is a cubit? A cubit is 18 inches. 1 plus 8 is 9. If a cubit is 18 inches, which is about 1.5 feet, then you can start doing math to like figure out, it says it's as long as it is. Well, you can take the how far would they say it's 12 furlongs long? 12,000 furlongs long by 12,000 furlongs in length. Well, 12,000 times 12,000 is 144 million. 1 plus 4 plus 4. Again, it just keeps veiling this 9 in there. Or sorry, it's 12,000 stadia. I don't remember what I said. So it lies 4 square within its same as its length, its width. He measured the city with a rod, and its dimensions were equal to 12,000 stadia, which 12,000 stadia times 12,000 stadia is 144 million, which would be like the area, right? 144 cubits is 1.5. Let me see here. Cubits. 144 cubits. So if you take that 144, is it 144 multiplied by 1.5? So it'd be 144 cubits times 1.5 feet. 144 cubits times 1.5 feet equals 216. 216 is 2 plus 6 plus 1, 9. So you can just keep going with this. It's clearly in there it's clearly on purpose. It's not divine. It's not God didn't put it in there. God doesn't care about these little number tricks, I don't think. But people do, obviously. So let's get to the StreamYard. Where did I put it? Hello? So I do want to do more on the number 9. I do think it's kind of crazy. I do remember being taught. Do you guys remember being taught how to do your 9 times tables with your hands? That was always cool. It's the only number that worked with. You could do like 9 times 4, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's 63, right? No. When I say 9 times 4? No, 9 times 4 is 36. Sorry, now you can see it 36. So you could do it whatever number, 9 times 5. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put down the 5th one, and you get 54, right? Same kind of deal. 9's a crazy number. And, if you add up the numbers 1 through 8, they equal 36. 3 plus 6 is 9. Without, you leave the 9 out. He talked about 666. 6, what did he say? 6 plus 6 was 12. Plus 6 is 18, which is 1 plus 8 is 9. You could also do 6 times 6. So if you take 6 times 6, oops, not 9. Come on. 6 times 6 equals 36, which 3 plus 6 is 9. But then you can also go times 6 again to get the 666, and it's 216, which we just saw. 216 was the cubits multiplied by feet, 1.5. 216 is again, 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 6 is 9. Which is crazy because in the, now I'm never going to remember the name of that book again. What is that name of that Jewish book? The Abersordal? Oh, man. What is the name of that book? Let me think. Shoot, I don't remember the name of this book. Let me check if I have it right here because I do want to show where it says something crazy at the beginning. It's like the something Seradoff or something. I don't know how to say it. Maybe I could put in like oldest Jewish Kabbalah book. I don't know. Give me the name. Apersora, what is it? Sepher Yetzirah. I'll get that eventually. It's the Sepher Yetzirah. If we go find the Sepher Yetzirah, let me show you what I'm doing. Because this is crazy. This is where things start tying together. You're like, what? That's too weird to be a coincidence. So here's the Yeser. Can I find the actual book? I know I've got it somewhere. The Kabbalah Unveiled. I want this book. Oh, wait. I see I'm searching the wrong thing. I want this. Thank you. No. Because this is supposedly like a book of secrets or something. It's the first numerology book. Can I please get it in PDF or something, for God's sakes? PDF. Let's see if it's here. Okay, pretty crazy book. Not very long, easy to read. But when you get into the part of it talking about, it goes through the numbers. It's just a very crazy, kind of hard to understand book. But there's something that talks. Let me go control find. What do if I do 10? Oh wow, there's that many tens. The 10 Sepher out of nothing. 22. Nope. 10 Sepher out of nothing, according to the number of the 10 digits, fingers and toes, which are 5 against 5 and a single covenant to be determined in the center. In word and tongue and mouth, they are 10 extending beyond limit. Depth of beginning. Okay, let me keep going. That's not what I'm looking for. 10 out of nothing, according to the number 10 digits. We read that. There are 10 extending beyond limit. We read that. To extending. Rule of 10. Which rule 10? 3, 7, and 12 over them. So somewhere in here, it's talking about that 9 is the... Oh, so this is crazy right here. 10 Sephiroth out of nothing. 10 and not 9. 10 and not 11. Understand in wisdom and be wise in understanding. Examine them, investigate them, think clearly and form. Place the word above its creator and reinstate the creator upon his foundation. And they are 10 extending beyond limit. Observe them, they appear like a flash. Their boundary has no limit, for his word is with them. And they ran and returned, and they pursue his saying like a whirlwind, vortex, and they prostrate themselves, bend themselves before his throne. 22 foundational letters, 3 mothers, 7 doubles, and 12 simples. 3 mothers, Aleph, Mem, Shin. A great mystery, concealed, marvelous, and magnificent, whence emerged fire, wind, air, spirit, breath, and water. Whence everything was created, 7 doubles, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. So this is a crazy book. If you've never read it, I'll put the link in the chat for you. I've read it before, and there's definitely secrets being hidden there. Some people will claim it's the name of God. You can list these certain words a certain direction and list them back, then list them back this way. They make columns, 12 columns of 3-letter words like this, Yod, He, Vod, He, those kind of things. That's where they got the name from, supposedly. But I think it's weird that they talk about 9 so much in here. 9. Let's see here. 9. Oops. It's only 3 times that 9's in here. So then not 9, the 10, not 11. Where's the other one? Let's see, 2. He sealed the west and turned backwards and sealed it with Yi, Yod, Vav. 9. He sealed the south and turned to his right and sealed it with Vav, Yod, He. So like these ones are the columns. He sealed the south. Okay, that's only 1 9. I thought there was another one. On the geometrical whirlwind of the Hebrew letters, the 10 closed numbers are 10 and not 9, nor 11. Understand in wisdom and ponder them in intelligence. Know and reflect and believe. Situate the thing according to its evidence and establish the creator according to its quality. The numbers correspond to 10 infinities, whose beginning flashes like lightning, but one finds no end to them when searching for their limit, and the decree of the creator made them like angels who ran and returned, and they pursue his decree like a whirlwind, as if it were they who prostrate themselves before the throne. I don't know. And if you go back to look at Wikipedia, I believe they say it's like one of the oldest books. See what they say about it. Hello? Go there. So it is the title of a book on Jewish mysticism, although some early commenters, such as the Kuzari, treated it as a treatise on mathematical and linguistic theory, as opposed to the Kabbalah. The word Yetzirah is more traditionally the formation. The word Bria is used for creation. The book is traditionally ascribed to the patriarch Abraham, although others attribute its writing to Rabbi Akiva. Modern scholars have not reached consensus on the question of its origins. According to the rabbi, the objective of the book's author was to convey in writing how the things of the universe came into existence. Conversely, Judah Halevi asserts that the main objective of the book, with its various examples, is to give to man the means by which he is able to understand the unity and omnipotence of God, omnipotence, which are multiform on one side and yet uniform on the other. The famous opening words of the book are as follows: By 32 mysterious paths of wisdom, Yah has engraved all things, who is the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the living God, the Almighty God, he that is uplifted and exalted, he that dwells forever, and whose name is holy. Having created his world by 3 derivatives of the Hebrew root word, namely Sepher, Sephor, and Sipher, along them 10 calibrations of empty space, 22 letters of Hebrew alphabet, of which 3 are principal letters, 7 are double-sounding consonants, and the 12 are ordinary letters. And supposedly there's secrets in there. Again, I don't read it to find secrets. I don't think you're going to find secrets in there, but you might find some interesting stuff, but you're not going to find secrets. Again, they would have changed it by now, I'm guessing. But there is like little things in there about. I do want to read one thing real quick. Let me put this back in there because I have found one thing that was see, it's over here on the geometry of the phonetics of the order of the alphabet, the 231 gates of the letter permutation, on the ethereal realm and its relation to prophecy, the rotation of the letters in the zodiac. Again, I won't even know. Did we see when it said it was written? Sorry, I want to go back to that. Where's the Wikipedia? Wikipedia. When did it say it's? How old is it? No, not primary text. I want to go back to this one. I just was there. You little. This one. Give me the Wikipedia. What the hell? Okay, let's see. Yeah, where was it? I put PDF. I remember PDF. And we were here. And where was it? The geometry of the next. On creation's witnesses on the defined epithets and Aristotelian category. I think it's here. Oh, sorry, I was trying to go to Wikipedia. Let me do this again. Go here. And we're going to go to Wikipedia. Paste. Thank you. Now can we get the Wikipedia of it? Thank you. Now can we see the ages? Where is it? It's age, origin. Mystics assert that the biblical patriarch Abraham. So, I mean, if they're saying it's from Abraham, I mean, again, you're not going to find the original. Of course, we know that there's not manuscripts that old, but I do want to know how long. Oh, according to modern historians, the origin of the text is unknown, hotly debated. Some scholars believe it might have an early medieval origin, while others emphasize earlier traditions appearing in the book. Most contemporary scholars date the text authorship to the Talmudic period. According to the Jewish Encyclopedia, the essential elements of the book are characteristic of the 3rd or 4th century. For a work of its nature, composed in the Geonic period, could have been cast only in the form of Jewish gnosis, which remained stationary after the 4th century if it had not been already become extinct. The historical origin of the Sepher Yetzirah was placed by Richard August Ritzenstein in the 2nd century BCE. According to Christopher Benton, the Hebrew grammatical form places its origin closer to the period of the Mitzvah, around the 2nd century CE. The division of the letters into 3 classes of vowels, mutes, and sonnets appears in Hellenistic texts. The date and origin of the book cannot definitely be determined so long as there is no critical text of it. As regards to the relation of the two. So let's go back real quick here. I guess there's not really a date that they can give us. Whereas on the closed numbers of mothers, doubles, the author then explains the 32 paths and says that these are 10 numbers and 22 letters. We translate the word. I don't remember where it's at because I actually was able to write it down what they were saying. And it was basically that there's, where's the bunch where it goes through a bunch of numbers? Second of 2 instruments, and they pursue on the rotation of the letters of the zodiac. So I do think like things like this are what's hidden. A word with 4 multiples, the number of possible combinations, just as a word with 5 letters multiplies them even more so. Nope. I mean, this is now talking about the planets and the, everything under the influences of the first 3 is strongly affected because their light falls on the horizon. The influence of the 4 other planets is weak because the horizon does not receive their light. If we do our work during the 3rd and 4th hours of the day, the celestial sphere has already turned 1 sign. Cancer is on the horizon, the moon is at the 5th, Saturn's at the 7th, Jupiter is at the 9th, Mercury is at the 11th. The influence of each of these depends upon the force from its position. So, again, to think that the stars have nothing to do with us and that they don't influence us, I think is crazy now at this point, and especially when you look at the sky and we realize the sky is right there. It's right on top of us. And so we've been told what? That astrology is a joke, right? So who thinks astrology is a joke? Does science? Yes. Does religion? Yes. Do you see the problem? That's where they push you. Go there or go there. Become religious or become scientific. They don't care which one. Why? Because you don't see the truth. It's been hidden from us from a long time. The author of this book has called him breath of the living God and has said, as my spirit will remain in the midst of thee, that thou fearest not. Via the second tenuous air, the word of prophecy is delivered, and it is said, the spirit of the eternal God is upon me. It is also via the second tenuous air that all the visible miracles appeared to the prophets, as said in a vision by the Spirit of God. This is evidently a created thing, for everything outside the Creator, may his name be exalted, is a created thing. As it is said, there is none other beside him. Right, Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 4:35. Oh, by the way, you want to see another 666? How about all the first digits of the Roman numerals? So Roman numeral 1 is the I, V is the 5, X is the 10, 50 is the, what is it, D or something? I don't know, L, whatever it is. But all the first numbers, if you add them up, you get to 500. It's 500 plus 100, is 600, plus 50, 650, plus 10 is 660, plus 5, 665, plus 1, 666. Pretty crazy. By the way of his second Timothy, see if there's anything here. I just don't remember where the 22 letters are 3 principles, 7 doubles, 12 simples, which are cleaved in the air, traced by the voice, and situated in the 5 places in the mouth. They have divided themselves into 5 sections. Okay, that's not where I'm looking for. 22 letters. No, when he traced, he multiplied. I don't remember what the number was. It was like you start with, it's almost like the Fibonacci sequence, kind of. What's this? An embolic of the year, which begins before 695 parts of the 12th hour. Nines appear everywhere. That Jesus died at the 9th hour of the day, right? So there's all that stuff. Where's this? A bet, multiply bet with all. Yeah, to multiply bet. Later on, he repeats his mistake by failing to multiply bet with all or all with bet, and the same with the other letters. He has only multiplied aleph with all. He has multiplied the sum of aleph. Is this the end of it? Oh, yeah, that's it. The reference to each letter, and he attached a crown to it, conforms to an ancient principle of happy memory. One tradition of the letters is that they have been revealed with ornaments and crowns. It is said 7 letters necessitate 3 adornments. Shin, Ayin, Tet, Nun, Zayin, Gimel, Tedesh. It is the same for each letter. For some letters, these adornments augment, and for others, they restrain the deductions drawn with them in the Book of the Crowns. Anyway, I thought that there was this certain mathematical formula in here that I have written down in my binder somewhere. I just don't remember what it was. It was basically like take a number, double it, and then maybe it was towards the beginning. What's this? The commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness, refers to quantity, since most false witnesses applies to measurement. Finally, the commandment, thou shalt not covet, indicates space and everything corresponding to it. Thus, the sage adds, the house of thy neighbor. Therefore, the Decalogue clearly comprehends all the notions of the world. By the same token, the 613 precepts must therefore be contained in the Decalogue without exception. By coordinating these precepts in accordance with the 10 Commandments, I have discovered that 80 precepts correspond. That's not there either. What's this saying about man? Oh, where did I just read that? The sages counted 4 aspects: substance, word, writing, and thought. For example, we see a man in substance, or we say the word man, or we write the letters man, and we represent an image of the man in thought. Now, why does our author only enumerate these aspects of a thing? He calls them the 3 Sephirim, or 3 divans. Not what I'm trying to read either. Okay, I'll look into this next time and get you the exact little code that they have in there, because it was kind of crazy that it did work out. He also said he would raise a noble among the people. For behold, I, the Lord, Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem. I could remember it being at the beginning, because it did get me kind of stuck on it. No, it doesn't look like it. Wait, what page are we at? Oh, no, we're not at the beginning yet. God, I don't remember the code. It was like, take one, double one, and then remove the last. And I was like writing it down. It's not the sealed to the left thing. Divine creation. No. All right. Well, we'll take calls. Let you guys call. Maybe you have some great gravy for me. I'm always open to it. I would love to hear what you have. It's pretty crazy. The proof of this is revealed in the universe, the year, and the soul. The universe is calculated according to 10. See this one. The 3 are 5. I'm sorry. Nope, this isn't right. The 3 are fire, air, and water. The 7 are the 7 planets. The 12 are the 12 signs of the zodiac. The year is computed by 10. The 3 are winter, summer, and seasons between. The 7 are the 7 days of creation. The 12 are the 12 months. The living soul is calculated according to the 10. 3 are the head, chest, and stomach. 7 are the 7 apertures of the body, 7 chakras. The 12 are the 12 leading organs. 10 Sephirot out of nothing. Stop your mouth from speaking. Stop your heart from thinking. And if your heart runs to think, return to a place of which is said they ran and returned. And concerning this thing, the covenant was made, and they are 10 in extent beyond limit. Their end is infused with their beginning, and their beginning with their end, like a flame attached to a glowing ember. Know, think, reflect, and imagine that the Creator is one, and there is nothing apart from him. And before one, what do you count? 22 foundational letters. That's very interesting what he's saying here, because I kind of believe that. That there is only the one. Strong and weak. The doubles represent the contraries. The opposite of life is death. The opposite of peace is evil. The opposite of wisdom is foolishness. The opposite of wealth is poverty. The opposite of fruitfulness is barrenness. The opposite of grace is ugliness. The opposite of dominion is slavery. The 12 simples. He engraved them, hoed them, tested them, weighed them, exchanged them. How did he combine them? 2 stones build 2 houses. 3 stones. Oh, this is it right here. I found it. Woo! So this part here, I kind of learned what they were getting at, where it says 2 stones build 2 houses. 3 stones build 6 houses. 4 stones build 24 houses. 5 stones build 120 houses. 6 stones build 720 houses. So all they're doing is they're taking the last number, because I started to write this down. If 2 builds 2 houses and 5 builds, 2 stones build 2 houses. 3 stones build 6. 3 build 6. 4 stones build 24. 4, 24. Right, so it's multiplying. You'll notice 2 build 2 stones. So then take the 2 stones and multiply that by the next number they give, which is 3 stones. So now you just multiply the 2 houses by the 3 stones, you get 6 houses. Now take that 6, multiply by the next number, 4 stones. So you know it's going to be 24. Build 24 houses. Take 24, multiply by 5, you're going to get 100 and whatever. And then you get, it says right there after, right? So we're at 5 stones build 120 houses. So you take 120 times 6. 6 stones builds 720 houses. Take 720 multiplied by 7. 7 stones builds 5,040 houses. So on and so forth. Thenceforth, go out and calculate what the mouth is unable to say and what the ear is unable to hear. Through the media, Yah, eternal of hosts, God of Israel, living Elohim, Almighty Master, lofty and extolled, dwelling in externity, holy be his name, traced, carved, his universe, Yod-He, Vav-He, is composed of 2 letters, YHVH, Yod-He, Vav-He, is composed of 4 letters, host, Tazavat, is like a signal, Sigot, in his army. Anyway, I've never even read this book before until last week, or 2 weeks ago. So I was pretty taken aback by it. I never even heard of it before. All right, let's go to the StreamYard. Let's go to Speaker's Corner. Let's get on the air here and see what's going on. What? Oh, I got to turn on my thing here. Where are you? Turn on the virtual camera. Okay, and we're going to go to, I don't want to show that. It's going to be a problem. We'll go this one. And now we're going to go to, yes, see if there's anybody waiting. All right, we got Sarah. Sarah, I know you probably hated me because I told you I was going to take calls and then I waited forever. But I just wanted you to listen to the whole show.
Hello?
Hello. All right. Oh, you can't hear me yet. There we go. There we are. Sorry about that. I know I told you I was going to take calls and then I just talked for the whole time. I do that. I'm good at it.
That's okay.
How are you?
How are you? Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Very good.
So, hold on. I was trying to turn down my TV.
Okay.
So, I went to Catholic school.
I'm sorry about that.
And it was awful.
Yes, I agree with you.
It was awful. Awful. Having to go to church was the worst thing ever.
It was pretty bad.
I knew it was wrong every time,
Even at a young age?
Yes.
Oh wow! See, I didn't know. I thought I was being holy and doing the right thing.
I just remember feeling like it was wrong, like I shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? But my dad would make me go, and he would make me bring the envelopes with the money to drop off on Sundays.
Of course.
So, yeah. And then when you think about that, like, why are they taking money when you pay for your kid to go to the school? You know?
Yeah, my parents used to have to volunteer time and stuff because it was like too expensive for them to send me there. So they had to, put in 40 hours a week of like time. My mom used to what do we call it? Being a playground. What are they called? A referee. What do they call teachers that are out there at recess?
Like
Isn't there a name for them? Chaperone. Yeah, I don't know if it's chaperone. All right. Well, yeah, that's what she used to have to chaperone something recess. Like yard duty. Yard duty. That's what it was.
Okay.
Did you call?
My dad was a Eucharistic minister.
Okay. Yeah. My mom was the head of liturgy. So I know lots of them. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry. I don't want to take away from you. I'm going to start your clock again. 4 minutes.
No, that's okay. That's okay. No, I was just calling to say, that I agree with everything you say for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good. But you still believe in a creator?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Just pretty much same views as you have.
And do you think it's been difficult because it's not really a place that they allow people to go? Right? It seems like they try and force you into, either you believe in science, or if you shun science and you believe in a creator, then you have to be Christian. It doesn't seem like there's much to find in the middle.
No, for sure not.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, my husband, when I was telling him, you don't even believe in God. He's like, well, why do I have to believe in your God when we used to, not have the same views, years ago.
Right.
But now we're on the same page. So
when
and
you got
teach our
married,
children the same thing.
when you got married, you were
We didn't ever get married. We've been together for like 20 years, though.
when you first got
But we
together,
always
though.
knew that was, we always had a feeling like everyone's like, get married. And we're like, we don't, we feel married. Like, why?
Yeah, it's actually smart. My wife and I would probably do the same thing if we had to do it all over again. Just because we do see it as like a trap, or just another attempt at the state to have intervention in your life.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we can love each other without a paper. In fact, we never even picked up the paper. I don't even know if it's official, to be honest with you.
I know people are still telling us to this day. They're like, get married. We're like, we're good. Like, no, don't you want his last name? I'm like, well, yeah, but why? Who says it's not my last name anyway? You know what I mean?
Call yourself whatever you want.
Right. I am, but we started I want to tell you, we started the rice experiment with my children. So
Nice.
We have 4 children. So yeah, we started it yesterday.
Awesome. And you have them, they're
They
all
love
in
doing
one,
it.
they're all in the same cupboard.
Yes.
Cool. Yep. Perfect. And just make sure that they really feel it, or you feel it, whoever's saying it, just, absolutely give it your all and your mental capacity, and you'll be shocked. I can't wait to hear about it. So maybe in, every week and call back, or in a month, make sure you call back and tell us what it looks like in a month.
Yeah, they're so excited to do it too. They're like,
That is
they're
so
already
good.
totally on board.
It
We
cha-
just pulled them out of school. My husband wanted me to call and tell you that
Nice.
he went to take back my daughter's horn that we were renting,
Mhm.
and the lady wanted to know, why they weren't going to school anymore, and she was like, "Is it because of the THC gummies that have been going around?" And my husband was like, no, I didn't even know about that. But yeah, there's another reason. But
Oh,
he was like,
boy.
no, it's because they taught my 7-year-old little girl to hate, that black and white people hated each other. And we don't think that's true. And even if that's not what they taught them, that's what my daughter came home and told us
Right.
that she was taught at school that day. So we pulled them out the next day. But the lady at the horn place said, well, I talked to the music teacher, and she said that kids are dropping like flies
Wow.
out of school. So
It's scary, man, what's going on. And they just can hide it from everybody because the media says whatever the media wants. It's put out there by those in charge. And so we just
I
get
know.
this, watered down nonsense story. And it's so funny. They wanted to, during coronavirus, they counted every single death, every
Yep.
single one. They told you exactly how many people died every single day. And then now that people are really dying, and they don't give you any numbers. Don't even tell you one person died.
No.
No one's ever died from the vaccine. That's for sure.
No, I asked my mother the other day to, try to stop watching the news for a week and see how she feels, and she literally growled at me like an animal.
I
Like, it
know.
was
It's
crazy.
my mom's morning
I'm like, is
thing.
this like a programmed response? I think it is.
Yeah, and then her entire worldview is going to be what the news says. And she feels she can go through
Exactly.
about it and talk to her friends and talk to family, but you're really just getting somebody's, not their real opinion. It's basically a talking head.
It's crazy.
So
My
well,
father too.
I'm glad that you guys got out of the school system. I think it's very important. Do whatever you have to do
Yeah.
to make it work. Try and find
Right.
some, something you can do from home. Maybe have the kids start making something. People love to buy things made by kids. There's that store,
Good idea.
Celix, that I have that, is a free store where you can just put things up, and it's hard to advertise for stores, but you can start to kind of get the word out there. And if you have something decent to sell, people will buy it.
Okay. Well, thank you for the
Okay.
advice.
Thanks, Sarah.
My
Appreciate
kids,
it.
I already know a huge difference. We already see a huge difference in all of them, all 4 of them.
Oh, I bet
It's
it'd be
crazy.
night and day. It's going to be completely
It's
different.
night and day.
Yeah.
It is. They're talked down to at school too. It's just like the rice experiment. They're gonna see it.
And school's going to be,
you know?
yeah, exactly. And they're just, the teachers are just reading from they don't want to be there. They're just going through the motions. I mean, not all of them. Of course, there's going to be some good ones out there. But even the ones I've talked to, I just talked to a girl this week that walked away from being a teacher because she just said she couldn't do it anymore. It was only 1 year that she knew she was teaching lies, and that was it.
Yeah.
So she said couldn't do it.
They were teaching them lies.
Yeah, and we were telling our children, of course, they were going there knowing that they were learning lies. We never told them that anything was true.
Right.
But I was a preschool teacher up until a month ago, and I had to stop because the same thing.
Wow, I didn't know that.
They were giving the kids dinosaurs and telling them that that there were space balls, and I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, that's the
felt like I was
unfortunate
like a
thing too, because
character.
those two things are things that can't be copyrighted, right? Like planets and dinosaurs. So that's what all these kid toys makers and shirt makers and bed sheets makers, they're going to always use those two things because they can get away with it without copyright.
Yeah.
So they just
I
keep
was like
forcing
an
out these
actor,
things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Reading from.
It's crazy.
All right, well, keep it up. I think
Yep.
you guys are on the right path for sure. Peace.
Yeah.
We got Daniel in Toronto. What's up, Daniel?
Hey, John, brother. How are you doing?
Good, yourself?
Still alive, so good.
Happy to hear it. We're starting your clock. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you actually gonna make another step, that you're gonna separate probably the show to different channel.
Yes.
Because last time a couple callers before me were complaining about that, and this way you probably gonna more clean your table. Although you put a stick to the wasp nest with this show, you know, and the wasp are coming out and definitely.
Well, you got to do it. I
bugs
mean, the problem for me is my options are pretty simple, right? Is to keep something to myself that I feel the need to want to get out, and that to me is the worst thing you could do. So it's unfortunate that I have to deal with the aftermath of it, but then again, the alternative to that is to really feel like I'm hiding something, or that I'm not saying something that I truly feel, or this whole channel was meant to be a kind of documentation of my path. And so to abandon that, or to do something just for money or for views, I couldn't live with myself. And again, I could become Christian tomorrow and make 3 times as much money in these streams just by saying, you know, that I'm a Christian. That's how much Christians just look for people with like-mindedness. They don't really even care what kind of person you are or anything like that. They gravitate towards this idea of helping your Christian brothers and chastising those who aren't. So to me, it's just, it feels more true. Now, if I have to do it on a different channel, that doesn't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. So I'm going to maybe put it on a different channel.
Yeah, well, that seems like the majority of Flat Earth community are of Christian background.
Of course.
And that's why you on the fringe with your views within this significant community. Yeah?
Of course,
The thing is, you know, your effort, search for truth, or even to open can of worms, are really commendable. If you're thinking about that, as human beings, when we are born to this realm, many people discuss this. If we are born as slaves, or we are born here as a free, and part of this slavery is the physical slavery, that we slave for money, and I use that word prostitute for money and trade or energy and time and abilities, and we're gonna get compensation from other people. But the other form of the slavery, it's intellectual, mental, and slavery by our beliefs. Yeah? And as one of the guys we know both has that slogan that belief is enemy of knowing, and it's really, I can see this in my own life, that I was born to the iconoclasmic religion, probably one of the most fundamental in this world. And there was even a caller last week who was from the same religion, cult or sect. There are others in chat, and they put aside all icons, you know, and so it just funny, not funny. It's interesting that you named this show like this. And I can see lots of parallels in the spiritual journey of many human beings who are searching for certain truths. So
yeah, such a good name.
I'm definitely positive you will help with such a show.
Somebody also made a good point the other day. They're like, when you start talking, why not pause the clock? I'm like, oh, I should do that. So pause the clock when I talk, and then this way you get your full 4 minutes. But no, I think that when I heard that name, it was so perfect. And it's funny how things work out, because it was like 2 weeks in a row that I just could not think of a name for the show. Everything I thought of, like, stupid, I don't like it. And then it just so happened I didn't pick a name. And then somebody in the chat just says, why not iconoclasm? I'm like, what the hell's that? And so when I read the definition, I'm like, holy, how did I not even see this word? Because it's not just religion. It can be the globe. It can be anything that is a deeply held religious-like belief that you're able to show shouldn't be such. And that's what's good about it. I think I'm going to probably name the channel that, to be honest with you, rather than the show. Yeah. The channel will probably be named that. Go ahead.
If you and I, we were born in India or in China, probably we wouldn't discuss in Christianity. We would discuss some other spiritual traditions of that geographical zone or area. So because we were born to so-called Christian zones. So the beliefs of Christianity were passed on us, and this is another thing about we communicate through the language, and language has that representation which many use as gematria, and I definitely see a magic in the numbers even here today's shows, but I see certain pitfalls in those patterns as well, because if we would want to go to some origins of or dawn of humankind, we would have to figure it out what was the original language. And even like this document you open, that Jewish book,
Sepher.
It's pointing to some Hebrew gematria. Yeah. So the story with that, it's worthy to look into everything. We just don't have this picture if we would wanted to go to the beginning.
No, it's very difficult, and you're going to have to still believe men, no matter what. You're going to have to believe somebody translated it right, and that we don't have any of those original documents. And that's where I just get to the point where I'm like, I don't think we can be. It can't be required of us to do so, because then it's requiring us to trust men, which everything in our life would tell us that's not probably the best idea. So, hey, I appreciate the call. I got a bunch of people behind you. I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel.
Peace out.
We got Theo Kirkley up next. Theo, what's up?
Hey, Jared.
How are you?
How's it going, man?
Good. You?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Good.
Woo! Oh, man, it's an exciting night for me.
Why is that?
Oh, well, I'm just doing my oblations over here. And
please do your oblations. We have to get those done.
Well,
I'm going to do mine after the show. Don't worry.
Yeah, if you don't, you're going to hell,
What are you doing? A dove or a turtle dove?
Oh, we're doing goats. We're doing sheep.
Nice.
And I just, the thing about it, you think you'd be creeped out, but no, you get worked up into a frenzy is the truth of it.
Imagine that. You start yielding that hatchet.
Like I feel like I can jump into, a war zone right now.
I bet you're just a killing machine right now.
Yeah.
That hatchet has never been yielded as such before.
The thing is, there's blood everywhere. Sometimes it's hard to see because it gets in your eyes, but
just wipe it out. It's all right.
You just wipe it. You lick it off. You just wipe it off and
wipe it 7 times though, please.
Oh boy, what's really funny is there's a certain, I don't know if it's called pathos or whatever, but like when you see the light go out in the animal's eye, like it's just laying
I don't know, to be honest with you, but
like there's blood coming out, and I don't know, you just feel like you're God or something. I think that's what it is. It's all about getting that connection with God, really.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So anyway,
well,
and I just want to let people know, I'm going to get back to this here, but
yes, please.
I do. If anyone wants to get like a circumcision done, I do it for real cheap, and like probably I could do half the price, and if it's a twin, I'll cut another half off, and I make good money off of it. There's a lot of, the foreskins go to Hollywood. I'll just put it that way, and so it works out for me.
Are you yourself snipped?
Of course.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to doing another, maybe hopefully I can get another orgasm in here tonight, and
what?
That'll make it 2 for the evening.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Take care, man.
Thanks, Tim.
Later.
Appreciate that call. That was a good one. Oh, we've got Matt Prince. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Matt Prince. What's up, Matt? Matt, are you there? Matt going once. Matt going twice. Put you on. People want to see you. How are you, my friend? I heard you and I are going to battle. We're going to throw blows, if you will, metaphorically.
It's going to be intense.
It's going to be hellacious, really.
I will be sure to leave my skirt at home.
Please do.
I'm just kidding.
Should be fun, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it. I think we should be able to easily crush out the rest of the donation goals. So huge shout out to Melodome for putting that whole thing on. Andrew B for putting on the questions.
Do we have a date yet or anything?
No.
Okay.
No, not yet. Just know that it's going to be after the summit and after the wedding.
Okay.
Some point. So probably looking at April.
Probably.
But, yeah. So we got a little bit of time. I got some time to study. Make sure I'm super prepared.
Study? How could you study after the questions they asked us the other night? That was like nothing. I thought it was going to be conspiracy stuff. That was all over the place.
Well, my theory is that if I just study, everything I can across the board, across every subject.
Okay, then you're
it's
fine.
Really like cram study session for the next.
So you're treating it like it's Jeopardy, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
If you're not treating it like it's Jeopardy, you're probably in for a world of hurt.
Probably. I'm very scared. I'm very scared of that. I need to get on my study. No, sometimes no, I don't think you could study for something like that. To be honest, you can try. What the hell's that? Sorry, I hit the wrong button. What is this? What is going on? How do I turn that off? What did I do?
Got a voice changer going.
Oh, it's that thing called. I use it as a voice mod. I use it as a soundboard, but I accidentally hit the voice changer button. Now I don't see where I turn it off. Hold on one second. We'll figure it out.
Conversations with our AI overlords are going to sound.
Now people know who I'm working for. Why, it's nowhere to be found. Where is it?
Sometimes just away.
Hold on, it'll show up here somewhere. It's just not anywhere I can see down here. It's not on the taskbar. There it is. Show window. There we go. Now end that voice thing. We will fix it. Right here, and voice changer off. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
That was let's end the show now. There we go. I was trying to get my voice changer up. My soundboard. Just because you had something funny I was going to put on there, and it's too late now. See, you ruined it. You ruined it. Well,
I didn't ruin it.
Maybe I did, but I don't know. It's not important. It's not important who ruined it. All right.
That's super funny.
So what's up?
So just real quick, just to address two things. For one, some people in the chat that are like, "Oh, Jesus is king. You just haven't done the research and yada yada."
Of course.
I don't think they understand just how much research we've actually done on this particular subject.
Right.
And even if you assume every bit of the Bible is completely true and then try to rationalize it with itself, you come to find out that there are still problems that you just have to do tremendous mental gymnastics to get through. And it's really funny because they're always so accusatory too. They're like, "Oh, we don't do like the pagans do. We don't sacrifice animals and we don't, do all this weird stuff." And it's like, as far as I'm seeing, you guys are like the only ones who do that. I don't.
And what do they mean by do some research? Because again, it's like research the words of men is what they're basically saying. You haven't looked at the right men who will tell you what is the truth about something that happened 2,000 years ago. And it's like, well, again, so you mean seek out the ones telling me what you want me to believe? There's no more truth there than there is anywhere else. Again, could it be true? I guess. I mean, but if I just can't picture there ever being a world where you would demand of people that they believe things that they've never seen. It just, to me, that's insane. And people go, but that's belief, that's faith. Yeah, but why would anybody have faith in something like that if it doesn't get you anywhere? What I mean by that is like, you don't have faith when you cross the street to not look both ways, right? You have to, if you're going to cross the freeway, let's say, we know that that's not a good thing to do. You're going to probably get hit. But does having faith help you there? No. Having faith is not going to help you cross the freeway and not get hit. So having faith in something is really not ever advantageous to you. Usually you want to have faith in something because it's built up enough truth that you start to trust it in, let's say your wife, right? And people might say, well, aren't you trusting of your wife? And you're like, yeah, after years of that person being faithful, and then you want to trust that person, maybe you have faith.
And that the Old Testament is supposed to give credence to the New Testament. So there's something called or referenced as the Deuteronomy 12 test. So Deuteronomy, basically what that says here, let me pull it up real quick. Deuteronomy 13, sorry. Designed to test the Israelites so that they don't chase after other mighty ones. Basically says, if somebody comes to you, doing a mighty sign or a wonder, basically a magician or whatever, or like that one story where they bring fire down on the altar and say, "See, look, this is our God."
Right.
If you have somebody doing that and they're telling you to do anything that's outside of the Torah, the word that your Lord, your God has given you, which is at that time they meant the Torah. So that's also where it comes to the whole don't add or don't take anything away. It's actually specifically for the Torah. So if you want to believe the book, right, and you want to make justifications for, they're adding, that's something you'll hear all the time. It's like, they're adding stuff that's not in the actual Torah, so it doesn't count. But in any case, so Deuteronomy 13 says that you're not supposed to, worship people who say anything other than what's in the Torah, even if they are doing these crazy signs and wonders, because God's apparently putting them in front of you as a stumbling block to see if you truly love the law or not.
Right.
And so Yeshua or Jesus, and the reason why I bring this up is because the ones out there who think that they are special boys or that they know something, really special just because they have the older translations, I'm actually here to tell you that unfortunately you're not. And the reason why is because if you keep doing the research, you're going to come to the conclusion that, we're all starting to come to who've read it. And that is that Yeshua actually does preach things that are outside of the Torah, which if you want to believe in the book, it completely disqualifies him of even being a prophet. I'll give some examples. This is in Matthew 10:32-33. Confess me in front of men or you will be denied by my Father in the heavens. Basically, he's talking about you need to confess my name, confess that I am, this Messiah. You don't have to believe that he's a holy one or a God. Because the Messianics, I'll call them, don't actually believe that. They just believe that he was another prophet or an anointed prophet, just like David. But the thing is again, he has to preach everything that's in the Torah and nothing outside of it. And you can't add anything or take anything away from the Torah. So it says here, Jesus or Yeshua is basically saying, in a roundabout way, I'm the way to my Father, which completely flies in the face of the idea that he was just living by the law perfectly to set an example for everybody, right? Now he's literally saying you have to believe in me and believe that I was the anointed one, and all that good stuff. 10:42, whoever gives a glass of water in the name of a taught one shall by no means lose his reward. And he's obviously talking about the reward in the, reward for the afterlife, what happens after you die, for your judgment, which they don't believe in the whole heaven and hell thing. They just believe that you don't get destroyed when you get brought back up. But again, where is this in the Torah, right? Whoever brings this glass of water in the name of a taught one, it's actually nowhere in there. This is an example of him teaching outside of it. And then 11:27, all have been handed over to me by my Father, which is again him basically putting up. This is another mighty one, right? He's saying that I'm the one in charge. God has put me in charge, even though God doesn't, share his esteem with anybody. And this wasn't even really revealed, although this can be argued. There's a whole bunch of proof texts that people can go through, but you can debunk every single one of them. And John 14:6, no one comes through the Father except through me. That's a little bit different than saying no one comes through the Father except by doing the law, right? So again, just some inconsistencies here so that people can help, wake up from that.
That's good. People need to do it more. And again, it's so easy because you just need to tell people to read it. I think if you read it, you can't. I'll have a conversation. Most people I talk to, they're like, Christian, like, well, I haven't read it. Okay, well, I get it. You've been listening to preachers who tell a certain story, but if you're really going to believe that the book is from God, then please just read it. And if you still believe that we should be worshiping that God, to me, I think that's the test. It's got to be the test is to see which people will see through the lies, which are everywhere. And ultimately, you do kind of come to the conclusion that the only person you can trust is yourself. And then you realize that the God is in you, that the I am is you. You are the I am. And so did you create the world? Nope, not saying that. I'm saying that we are each a piece of God, and this allows God to operate in the world. And this is why, everything is inspired and nothing's inspired, and everything's from God and nothing's from God. And all sin is done by God, but all sin is actually none of sin is done by God. It's that whole oneness. God is everything. And then it kind of makes sense for me with the world because I don't believe in the spinning ball in space, obviously. And then I kind of look at the flat earth. Well, where's the flat earth? And the only thing I can really come to is it's nowhere. This existence is so magical that that makes more sense to me, that we don't exist anywhere but like in the mind of God, that we are in the realm of God. We are in a world of God's making, where it wouldn't exist without God's constant oversight or at least thought or whatever. So it's much a better story than this story here in the Bible, which is just not jiving with anything that's part of our reality. So let me let you go. I went way too long. We got people waiting. Talk to you soon. Hope you call next week.
Absolutely.
We got Matt Prince in the house. Matt, you here now?
Hey, brother. Sorry about that a minute ago. I was
Sorry.
across the house.
No problem. Let me start your clock.
How you doing tonight, man?
Doing all right.
Good.
Got a lot going on with the
shout out
summit.
to Sarah for getting their kids out of
Very
school.
nice, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So let me see here. Yeah, go ahead. You are on the clock.
Yeah, I didn't really have too much to say. I just wanted to call in and just say
because you can get 6 minutes tonight with the hat. Oh no, that's Thursday. All right, we got to do that on Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday. Call Thursday. You get the extended time.
But yeah, I was just going to point out the Christians and the Q movement and whatnot, and the false idol worship there.
Yeah, it's a savior's complex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been taught to people.
Has that issue.
My mom would have it too. I don't think she really knew much about Q, but it's this idea that we need a savior, and when the savior comes, everything will be done, and we'll all be fine. We just need to, because that's what most people believe. So they sit around and they let the evil perpetuate.
Well, my mom still thinks that Donald Trump is the real president behind the scenes.
Oh,
and I'm
man.
like, if he's the real president behind the scenes, why the fuck is the country going downhill? Like,
why did he fast track the vaccine? Well, he had to. He had to fast track it. You know, they have all these answers.
Yep.
It's crazy because it is the Christians that believe that, and they have the same answers that they have for God. It's, you know, oh, you had to do that. Oh, you don't understand, you know, the 5D chess he's playing, and just like I don't understand God's masterful ways that he needs to have people sacrifice animals. Like, no, he doesn't need to. It's God. He needed to sacrifice his son. No, he doesn't need to do anything. It's God. If he chose to sacrifice his son, he did that on his own. He didn't need to. Who's in charge of him that says you need to sacrifice your son in order to forgive these people? It's like funny.
Well, that's another thing. Like, even like my interpretation of the Bible, it's like Jesus is not the Son of God. He, like, the way I see it was he was referring himself as like we're all the sons of God, like we're all brothers and sisters and underneath the Creator.
Me too. I think that too. And again, some of the words are going to be changed. And this is the thing. We can't trust all the words. You don't know even that Jesus said those words because we don't have any audio recording or video recording. And even today's world, you wouldn't even be able to trust that. So it comes down to take the good, leave the bad. But yeah, he said a lot of things that jive with me. Like no man has heard God's voice. That's a very big one to me, or seen his face. Because if you look at the Old Testament, which is happening constantly, people were hearing God's voice. So it made me think, well, I don't think Jesus thought that those people were really talking to his Father, right? Because Moses, it says, talk to God face to face. So how could Jesus then say no man has seen God face to face or heard his voice? Well, Moses did. And I thought that you said Moses. So, and it's not like Jesus doesn't mention Moses. He does say that, in fact, I think he says, I can't remember now, but he does say that, that God, no one's ever seen his voice or heard or seen his face. So it's kind of like maybe he was trying to bring change about the Old Testament, almost like, no, that's not my Father, which makes sense when he's picking wheat or whatever on a Sabbath, and they come to him and say, hey, what are you doing? Well, in the Old Testament, God stoned people for doing that. So then Jesus says, well, the Sabbath is made for the people aren't made for the Sabbath, which is like him changing what, God was saying. God says honor the Sabbath. When he says that, he's not saying that the Sabbath is made for people. He's saying honor the Sabbath as if it's made, the people are made to honor the Sabbath. So it's like he goes completely opposite, and we're told it's the same person, which is crazy. Not the same person.
Yeah, well, the Sabbath is just supposed to be your day of rest. It's supposed to be your promised day of rest. It's, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I was going to say, where's it?
But even Adam and Eve, it says that, God came down to the garden.
Right. And saw them, and they heard his voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And question them face to face.
Right. And then also, it doesn't say that I don't know what I gotta look at the original Hebrew. Actually, I'm here on Bible Hub. I should do that right now. Is the original Hebrew that God got animal skins? Because if it is, then God was the first murderer on earth, or he's the first one who killed an animal.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that because I've seen the animal skin thing, but I've also seen that
fig leaves, right?
When it talks about them putting on clothing, that it was armor, like that word meant armor.
Let's see what it is in the Hebrew. I always forget. Where's the Genesis? I don't remember what verse that was. Let me get my book. What do I do with it? Oh, whatever.
Something like instead of them being naked, it was like it translates to something like they saw themselves and they were unprotected, so they protected their body.
So this is, I know this is like a Catholic Bible. I don't even know what version this is. I don't even know. It's just it's an old one. I like it because it's old. What is this version? Does it say the version on here? Catholic Family Edition of the Holy Bible. First 8 books and the Book of Psalms and the Old Testament, the entire New Testament. But it doesn't say like a version. I don't even know. I don't know what it is. Anyway, stays pretty close. So let's see. Genesis would be probably right from the beginning, I'm guessing. Maybe chapter 2, 3, 4. Nope. Earlier than that. Nope. Cain and Abel. Temptation and fall. So be here. He did to the woman, did God say, you shall not eat of the tree of the garden? The woman answered, the serpent, of the fruit of the trees in the garden you shall eat. But the serpent said to the woman, keep going. When they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, the man and his wife hid themselves from the Lord among the trees. But the Lord God called them and says, where are you? And he said, I have heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid. Then he said, who told you that you were naked? You have eaten from the tree then, which I commanded you not to eat. The man said, the woman you placed at my side gave fruit to me from the tree. I did eat it. Then the Lord said to the woman, why have you done this? The woman said, the serpent deceived me, and I ate. Then the Lord said to the serpent, punishment be, because you have done this, the curse will be on all animals. Okay. I will put enmity between you and the woman. Yes, keep going. I will make great your distress in childbearing. How nice of us. For your husband shall be your longing, though you have dominion and have dominion over you. And to Adam he said, because you have listened to your wife and have eaten of the tree, which I have commanded you not to eat, cursed be the ground because of you. In toil shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth, and you shall eat the plants of the field. In the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground, since out you were taken. And dust you are, unto us dust you shall return. And the man called his wife Eve, because she was the mother of all things living. The Lord God made garments of skin for Adam and wife, and clothed them. And he said, indeed, the man has become like us. So this is 21, chapter 3:21. Chapter 3:21. Let me see what it says in the Hebrew. It'd be interesting to see 3:21. I never know how this thing works. Bible Hub sucks. Genesis 3. I can never get to where I want to go. Genesis 3. I wonder if it says animals. It'd be really weird if it does. It's like, what did I say, 3:21? Oh boy, it does this thing. 3 and there we go. 3. Nope. Where does it show the verses? Okay, let's go to Hebrew. Hebrew and 3:21. I have to hit forward button 21 times. Come on. Isn't there a way? Oh, there it is. Drop down. There it is. 3:21. I wonder what it says. I'm going to guess it. Well, what do I want to guess? What do you think? Do you think it says animal skins, or do you think it's going to say something different?
Oh, I don't know, man. I was actually looking through.
Looks like
here trying to find, because I don't remember it saying that the Lord made them animal skins to cover their body. Like from what I remember reading, it says like they covered themselves.
So this, and I think that story might be in there twice.
And made themselves aprons and aprons. Kagor.
So the Hebrew looks like it says, and made Yahweh God
armor. Yeah, armor is.
Which version's that?
I got the KJV plus, which is got the Hebrew, and in the KJV it says that and the eyes were open of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
Wait, what chapter is that though? Isn't that the second? Don't they tell the story twice?
3:7.
Oh, so 3:7 and 3:21. Let me go to 7 then and see what that says. So 21, it looks like it says animal skins. I'll read that in a second.
Okay, I'll look at 21 then.
3:7, and so you have the KJV, and next to it is the Hebrew. Is that what you said?
Yeah, well, it's the it's
the phone.
Shoot, I forget what this app is, but it's got the concordance. You hit
cool.